ARB helps.
Yep, anti-roll bar.
Yeah, I don't understand anything.
Toe.
Anti-roll bar.
If you've not got enough toe in, it'll kick your front end in or out.
Oh no, the Dubs is running late.
Yeah.
Boys, pack it in!
The hell don't know for Dubs is
I
running
can't,
late.
I'm getting so much oversteer, lift off oversteer into turn 1. And that's now my pressures are too high now.
Oh, hey up, hey up.
Oh.
What am I on? Have I got?
Oh well, I'll just go back in the pits then, shall I?
Oh, I'm on wrong bloody tyre. No wonder why I felt so nice.
That.
Fuck's sake, man.
Fuck off, you're doing my head in. Kieran really gets on my tits at times, man. He starts chatting to me about incidents that's gone in from the night before, and it's like, mate, you know I'm not fucking dealing with him anymore. You ever?
Where's he, mate?
Oh, fucking don't. He's coming Donington and all now, I think. He's on about coming for day, yeah.
Shit.
He goes on like...
Who's coming for the day? What are you on about?
That's that.
Oi, Big Johnny Sins! Who the fuck are you?
See how long these takes. I think I'm just gonna have to run the hard and bite the fucking bullet. I just can't. Soft heat up too much.
Peaceful. I know how you feel, mate. I know how you feel. I'm in the same boat.
What did they say?
Even I can't make them work. I just, yeah. Oh, I hope. I hope. Why does this car feel different and I'm on hards? And I'll say that too quick. Am I on the right? Stay there, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Look, what the heck? Why does it feel? Ooh.
If you're gonna pass, Monkey, let me know because I'm still warming. Okay.
Try that. 18, 19, try 23, try that. I don't know, it might work, it might not. Let's have it go. I need that 103. I need a race pace more and more. I think it's gonna be hard tyres and just go for the best, hope for the best, really.
Oh, I'm glad I'm in commentary box and don't have your guys' troubles.
It's horrible, mate. It's absolutely horrible. But no, you make hard tyres work, so yeah.
You do have our troubles to a degree though, because it's on stream.
No, I got to talk about you guys fucking up.
Shove your invitation up your arse.
Yeah. Oh! Right, Peaceful down as disqualified, no points for him tonight.
Oh well, I'll be faster than I am fucking normally.
You'll gain a few back on your drop score, not you?
Yeah.
So he is taking double bubble tonight.
Right, Matt, I've got a question. Do you know if I...
Not fucking me.
Like...
Oh, James Thompson from the 1998 season.
Wait.
Whoever's watching my personal stream, go across and watch SimPlay Motorsport. It's much better on there.
Also, I'll send you a picture of some nice things for 50 quid.
Right, so I'm on my third lap now.
See what?
Coming out of the pit. My first was 1 minute 30, second was 1 minute 16. Proper, like, trying to get these pressures up as early as I can. Because it'll decide whether I end up going into quali with hards or not.
I'd qualify soft if I'm going to be honest with you.
I was looking so quick. Are you allowed to do donuts?
No.
Get some flour, some water.
Yeah.
I mean, on track, off a track to get the tyres warm to do a quiet lap.
Fuck.
Here we go. Here we fucking go.
104, not bad.
So I've just finished my 4th lap out of the pits and they're starting to get around 1.7 bar.
I reckon Monkey Boy for a race win.
I don't think so.
Peaceful on the podium, 1-2 for the team.
Fucking hell, is everyone else disconnecting?
And Liam's also going to get on the podium.
Oh, fucking wish.
And
wow, why am I stepping out so much into turn 1?
And next week, Dean will win a race.
What's next week?
Red Bull Ring.
And you've got more chance at Pope touching my bollocks.
Back to fucking normal tracks.
Do you mean back to what's wrong with Donington?
It's shit.
I'm offended.
Don't say that. Don't say that to Matt. He takes it personally.
Why is...
Yeah, that's like saying Hondas are shit.
Yeah, but
in fact,
that's a fact.
Mazda, I found a way how to get the pressures up.
Well, Kelly,
fucking
you watch.
Slide off.
Kelly, you better start checking yourself, Kelly.
I've just slid off and they've just jumped up half a fucking bar.
I don't know if I've said it before, Matt, but Hondas are shit.
You better check.
Shit.
You better check yourself before I wreck you.
Oh really? Okay, Hondas are shit.
My wheel feels
dog shit.
weird holding it like this without my gloves on.
Apart from the generators and the lawnmowers.
You wait till Donington.
They're the best.
I'm going to buy a Honda.
Honda's generator and lawnmowers, they're the best.
They are. The fucking generators are epic.
When it comes to their cars, they're fucking dog shit.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. You're exactly right.
You're from fucking Scotland, so you don't get a vote.
You're from Wales. You don't know anything.
That's a fair point. I'll let you have that.
Thank you.
I'll let you have that. Right, I'm going to jump in and... Yeah. I'm going to go into a different... Oh, you've got plenty of time. It's only freaking 10 to. I'm going to jump into a party with Kelly. So best of luck to those guys who are racing tonight. Mike, you're going to need it. See you for Red Bull. See you for Red Bull Ring later, lads. Liam's fucking gay. Liam's fucking gay. Everybody say Liam's fucking gay. Liam's fucking gay. Everybody say Liam's fucking gay. Liam's fucking gay. Liam's fucking gay. Liam's fucking gay. Ah, hello, Kelly.
Hello, mate. All right?
Yes, are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
Well done last night, mate.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a good drive. Both rounds were a good drive, actually.
Yeah. I thought the whole night was a good night, to be fair. I thought it was good Pro-Am driving.
Yeah, I watched it back today because obviously, I mean, this was sounding fucking incredibly cocky, right? But race 1, I had really very little to do, you know?
Yeah,
except keep my shit together, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't really see anything except, you know, kind of clear it. Oh, the only kind of dodgy moments are when, you know, you're coming up behind the likes of DJ Phil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I had like clear track in front of me, and then I just followed Nicky for the second half of the race, and it was like, you know, I could hear you and Dan. I try to balance the levels. I've got my headphones on so I can hear Nicky. I've got the telly so I can hear the engine tone, and then I've got the stream running as well. So I'm trying to balance all three. So I'm kind of tuned into whatever, and I hear you bloody screaming and shouting, and I'm thinking, is he commentating on a different race to what I'm in? You know, because we were just, you know, we were rolling around. Well, not rolling around, but do you know what I mean? Once me and Nicky broke away, we did just get into a rhythm and stay there.
Yeah.
You know? And I would have been right behind Nicky in race 2 if I didn't have a fucking spin. You know? I had a spin in the old hairpin and a proper one. Do you know what I mean? Right up on the fucking high up on the grass banking, pointing in the wrong direction. Then I had to fucking get off high up on the grass, back to the track. It lost me like 25 seconds.
Yeah, I did see you go off. Well, we didn't see you go off, but I did see you at the moment. I thought Pro-Am was very good last night. And do you know what makes me laugh? Do you know what makes me laugh with it? Daniel Francis hasn't been there for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Pro-Am has been brilliant.
That's interesting. And no disputes, is there? Or has Kieran had some? Not Kieran, and Mike. Has he had some?
I think he's had that one that Dean's put in.
Yeah.
And then a few that was caught on stream. Yeah.
Right,
he's like Starsloth's unsafe rejoin.
Rejoining?
Yeah.
It's rejoin, yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah. I think Sloth is getting better.
Yeah. He's running cockpit view.
Does he?
Yeah. He's more compliant now when you come up behind him.
Yeah.
You know? If I have the TV on yet, can you hear it or not?
No, I don't think so if the door's shut. Why?
I'm not going to put the headset on.
Alright, okay.
It's a bit of a D, but I mean...
Yeah, okay, I shouldn't be able to because that's coming through there.
Chances are Fury being a part with Dan and whatnot, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's been much gone in, but bits we caught on the stream. And then that one Dean point. But I know why Dean's put that one in against himself. Yeah,
because he wants 2 weeks off.
He asked for a 2-week break because the new football game's out next week, and knowing Dean, he'll want to. So he said to me in Peaceful, he wants 2 weeks off to practice Red Bull Ring, and like we both said, but by the time you've had 2 weeks to practice Red Bull Ring, we'll be at the track that's in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I was going to say Red Bull's next week.
Red Bull's next week. So you want 2 weeks to practice Red Bulls, but then it's Red Bull Daytona, and then I think we're at Algarve. So I said you'd have done 2 weeks practice at Red Bull, and then you'll be needing to test for Algarve. So your logic makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then I think Mike convinced him to stay, and then he put that. Then all of a sudden he put that in, but was still moaning to me about Ukbar hitting me in race 2, otherwise he'd have had third. Hit race 1, otherwise he'd have had third. I said, so why hadn't you put that in? He says, because I started to look race. There's no fucking point. And I'm like, you're looking for a race ban now, aren't you? In my opinion, he said it was worse than what Cam did the other season.
Really?
So he said. No, it wasn't that bad.
No, I don't think it was that bad. Yeah, as I say, it was good night last night. It was a good race. I expected us to be okay. I expected us to be at the sharp end. But I wasn't expecting to be up there. But then, to be fair, if Mays hadn't disconnected, he would have won. You know? Maybe not in race 2. Race 1, but he would have won race 2 if he hadn't disconnected.
Possibly.
Yeah, for sure. Mays is the Fury. Well, in fact, I think he's worse than Fury. I think he's more consistent than Fury.
I don't think he is.
Sorry?
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
His car's very twitchy, and I don't think that Mays is... I think he's quick, but I think he's got mistakes in him, and when he's got internet like Jamie Brazier, you know, Dubai didn't look great compared to Joe. Brands Hatch Mays didn't look great at all. Indy, all right, Mays looked quick. Last night he had good pace, but we didn't see his race pace. So it was hard to say about last night, but No, I think last night was very interesting. It gave Nicky his first win. It gave Alfie his first win.
Yeah. Alfie's improving.
Yeah, Alfie's improving. Dean backed that SLS up with good pace, but couldn't put it together. Kieran did Kieran's usual shit. The AMG I thought struggled. Phil, Joe, and Kieran looked like they struggled. The Lamborghini looked all right. Stovsloff got a fourth. Welshie was running well before he disconnected.
Yeah, that was a shame as well.
And the Renault, the Renault did wonderful things last night. But I think the SLS, I think Dean backed Alfie. I think Alfie's win wasn't a fluke because I think Dean backed it up with glimpses of good pace.
Yeah,
kept ballsing up on his own. So I think the SLS. 4 minutes. Wow, so. Yeah, I think there's good pace from everybody, to be fair. I thought it was very good all the way through.
Why is Dan running late then? Is he in or not in?
His mum's having some plugs looked at or something.
Some plugs?
Some plug sockets or something looked at on wall or something. He was on earlier and said he'll be back later, but obviously the electrician must be running a bit late with his stuff. So, who we not got in yet? No Phil, no Little Leach, no Dan, no Fury. Who, by the way, has tested a different car today.
Who has Fury?
Yeah. And has run the same
stuck with
pace.
the one he's got, isn't he?
He's stuck with that. But he's looking at next season already, I think. I don't know why, because he's up there this season and doing well. Cadillac.
Really?
So he said he was running the same pace in the Cadillac round Donington as what he was in the Merc. Now, what I said to Mazda earlier was I think Donington's a bit like Laguna Seca in a way of it null and voids the quick cars from the better cars through the corner. There's a bit of everything. The Mercs can still be quick. You've got two good straights. But the Renaults are like, if you had an Acura or a McLaren or a Ferrari, would be good because they're good on the brakes and good through the corners. And I think you've got a lot of that at Donington. And they're not just stop-starty corners like at Zoo High, where you forever stop starting. They're good, fast-flowing corners where like the Renault was very good last night. I think that's why the Renault was keeping with the SLS quite well, because the SLS had that bit more pace, but Nicky was able to keep with him because I think that the corners really helped that Renault get through it. And I think Donington's one of them sort of tracks that suit everything.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's you when you test a car, you don't do one track, do you? You test other tracks, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm really happy with the Renault, but I was watching. As I say, I watched the stream back today, and Gary was chatting. You guys were saying, Gary and Little Leach will be happy, and he was kind of commenting that, but no disrespect. This is Pro-Am, and he's probably right. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, if anybody can make it happen, then Gary can.
Gary said that, but I do feel that Gary likes the British tracks, so likes it round here, and I think based off the Renault last night, and yes, all right, it was only Pro-Am, but that's where you start to look.
Yeah.
That's where you sort of start to have a little, a little look at it all.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Mike's struggling, Maz is struggling, Is Liam racing tonight then, is he?
Liam's racing, yeah, he's here.
Right. Is he obviously in his car, in his Audi, so that sounds like that's struggling.
He's in Merc now, isn't he? But he's only done Brands Hatch and a little bit of testing before
he's in Merc. When did he change to Merc?
They've been him and Fury are teammates, aren't they, this season?
Oh, right, yeah, because...
he did Brands Hatch and then hasn't been here since. Because Liam teamed with Fury, Mazda teamed with Jamie, didn't he?
Yeah. There's so much going on in the last couple of weeks.
Don't get me started on Jamie.
Yeah. Yeah, bizarre one, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit. Right, we'll just keep it quite a second. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport, here for your pro action around Donington Park National Circuit. Here, not the GP loop, with same layout as last night, And if anything like last night's to go by, we could be in for an absolute crackerjack of racing, an absolute brilliant night of action. I'm Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box by my partner in crime on a Thursday night, sweet and sticky in your box. Kelly, good evening, how are you?
Good evening, mate. I'm very well, thank you. And loving Donny Park right now.
Yes, I can imagine after the night you had last night.
Yeah, we had a good one, Team Prolapse. Yeah, absolute beauty. And so I'll let you get into your normal kind of stuff. We'll talk about that later on, won't we?
Yeah, we will indeed. We're here though at Donington Park National, home circuit of mine. We're here for tonight's pro action, and what a job we've got in store tonight. I do believe there is no Phil. I think he's at work tonight, not 100% sure, but Dan on Orthodubs is running a little bit late. The championship leader not on time at the moment. There are two people taking double points tonight. We'll get to that in a little bit, but at the moment the tables, which I'll run through quickly, go like this. Unorthodox leads the way, 35 points clear of Andy with Disco in P2. Fury, probably some people's surprise package at the minute, up there in P4. Gary in 5th, dragging that Renault along ahead of D Biggs in P6. BT Targa is in 7th with Peaceful Explosion in 8th ahead of Xmart 9th. Little Each down in 10th. Sutty is P11. Jamie Brazier has pulled out from the league but is still there in P12. Obviously he's able to come back if he wants to, but as said, he won't be back this season at least. Monkey Boy then is 13th place. Phil is in 14th place. That Buzzy Boy is P15, and Mazda on no points tonight based off of the occurrences of last week of Jamie pulling out. We'll just go through that briefly now. Jamie basically pulled out last week in a statement that he put on Facebook, and I will just try and load it up for you now, but that has led to a change in team. I say team, a rebrand of the team for Mazda, and he's back in his AMG. We allowed Smithy to do the same thing, so it was only fair that Mazda got to copy. But in Jamie's statement, he says that his time in the GT3s has come to an end. Unfortunately, Project Cars 2 has no longer become fun for me, and I am no longer enjoying racing on there. I'd like to thank everyone I have raced against in this past 3 seasons. I'd like to thank Matt and Kelly and Andy for the commentary and on my races. I'd like to thank Keegs, Liam and Mazda for being my teammate and helping me progress to the driver I am now. I may come back to GT3s at some point, but at the moment I feel like I need a break from the game. I will still be commentating alongside Matt on a Monday and a Friday. Good luck for everyone for the rest of the season. Now that comes as sad news to us here at SimPlay, because he was a real title challenger for Dan, as Phil has just got in the session. It's great to see Phil here. I thought he was at work. He's obviously not. It's a real sadness, Kelly, that Jamie no longer racing with us, but if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. He's got to do what's right by himself.
Yes, absolutely, and you're quite right. I feel a little bit robbed, to be fair.
Yes.
Because Jamie and Matt, I thought Jamie and Dan, that's the guy. I thought they were going to have a titanic battle this year. We saw glimpses of that at Dubai, and I was really looking forward. I feel a little bit robbed.
Yeah, I feel like we've been robbed, but I feel like we've been given that opportunity back by Mazda being allowed into the Mercedes-Benz. I feel like we've got what could be a title challenge between him and Dan. And Dan yet to be in, by the way, 15 minutes of a practice session, so he's got 5 minutes left. We will say evening to PN Motorsport. Nicky in the chat, well done last night, Nicky. Evening to JR Disco.
Stellar drive.
Monkey Boy, Fury's granddad's with us as well, as is Michael Connolly, who's self-sloth. Smithy in there as well. Well done to Team No Laps last night. Now watch End Up smash it like he does every week. And evening to Welshie once again as well. You're wondering why they're ghosting there? That's because Phil was late into the session. That is why he is ghosting them. Few drivers out there on track. Fury, Sutty and that Buzzy Boy yet to come out the pits. But Kelly, like you say, we feel robbed of a title battle with Jamie pulling out. Yeah,
absolutely. Because I think he could really take it to Dan. I'm hoping that Disco and Andy are going to give him a run for his money, which they have been. Yeah. Different tracks are going to favour different people. Dan's is on the form of his life, and being that he is my son, obviously I want him to do well. But as he'll tell you himself, he wants challenge. We want to see a challenge. We don't want the we want close. Dogfight kind of racing, and I think that's what Dan's up for, really. And I thought we were really going to get that with Jamie. So if Andy's listening to the stream, then come on, Andy or Disco. Send it to Dan. Come on.
Yeah, someone needs to put that pressure and take that fight to Dan. In terms of the Constructors' battle, then, it means we have got a new constructor out there on the grid. But it's Shake and Bake who lead the way, trying to defend their title. 21 points clear of this team, Slingshot Motorsport, who... Really, that BMW has really come to life this season. Andy and Disco in that car have been brilliant. The Leachy Losers in that Renault are P3, just a couple of points ahead of Team Prolapse. GQ Motorsport are above Wakasaki Racing, with Run Flat Racing then on 45 points. Ironbrew Racing now, obviously, nobody driving for Ironbrew Racing anymore. They're on 25 points. And SimPlay Racing back on the grid with Mazda then in his Mercedes-Benz. Let's discuss these BMWs, Kelly. We've said it, I think, a couple of times this season, but I am really impressed with how Andy especially... We've seen Disco in it last season, and we know Disco's a capable driver, very good driver. Andy making that switch Ginetta to BMW, I think, has helped Disco, but also helped Andy. I think Andy looks a better driver, and I think Disco looks a better driver as well at the moment.
As I've said every round so far this season, they're the team for me. I think that's a great, strong lineup. Shake and Bake with Dan and D Biggs are a great lineup, as we know, but we haven't seen a lot of D Biggs yet because he's been doing his Jane McDonald bit and holidaying and all the rest of it. So we haven't seen the best of D Biggs yet. So I'm sure he'll come alive, in this championship. It's a strong pairing, an exciting pairing, Disco and Andy. And I mean, Andy's looking a real contender, isn't he? And we know Andy from past. We know him. We know him well. We know he can drive. We know he's more than capable. So it's good to see him in a car that he can get his teeth into, really.
It does as well. Now let's get to the man in P12 currently, Kelly, as well, Fiore. Let's just take a minute to speak about this guy, because we've said it in seasons gone past. I said it Monday night. He won under Clio's Monday night at Alton Park Fosters, round 4 of them. Took a race win, well earned, fought hard against people like Gary and Little Each and Sutty and Falguest in that one, as Dan's luck wasn't with him. But what I will say is Fiore is maturing into a brilliant driver, and what we're seeing here in this GT3 season, he's gone back to the Pro, he stayed in that Merc, which he's comfortable in last year. He's 4th in a Pro Championship. This boy is really, really improving, and he's every week, for me, getting better and better. He is a guy that he puts a smile on my face at the minute, because I am enjoying seeing this boy's progress. He is becoming such a fine driver.
And I echo that completely. I'm probably coming up for about a year being involved in actual sim racing. I've been playing computer games since I could hold a controller, but sim racing competitively, I've been involved for about a year now, and Fiore's been in there all that time, and I've raced him on other leagues and gone door handle to door handle with him. I've raced him in Pro-Am, and I mean, he destroyed Pro-Am last year, but the opportunities I got, I had some good racing with him, and I've got to say, in the last 12 months, he has definitely improved and matured in his driving style. He still has his moments, but don't we all? Certainly a very well improved. If we were doing an end of year awards, then he'd certainly be in my pick for most improved driver.
And it's testament, I think, to the dedication that he's put in here. And you go back and watch the Clio Cup race Monday night. For those who didn't watch it, what a race that was. I said this last night. I think I said this off air to Dan. When drivers like Mays and Kieran and Rabbit Joe don't turn, you had yourself and Nicky capitalise on that, and Alf capitalised as well. Same in the F1 at Monza when Hamilton and Verstappen took each other out. You had Ricciardo and Norris step up to the plate. Fiore did that Monday night. Dan didn't have a great race. Falguest didn't have a great start. Gary, new to the championship. Little Each still not quite there in the Clios, I don't think. And Fiore had the race of his life. Was very mature, very patient in attacking. Very, very good on his defensive drive. And it was a very mature drive from Fiore. And I think that we're seeing that this season in the GT3s as well. He's relaying them skills over from what he's learnt in Clios. And I feel that the more Fiore races, the better you see every week. All right, is he going to take up wins in the GT3s? Maybe not. You look at the calibre that's in the GT3s, maybe compared to them Clios, maybe you don't think that there's enough for Fiore to get a race win. But then I'm not going to say that he won't win this season, because I think that he's got the skills to deliver if the night doesn't go the way he wants it to. And I think Fiore is just developing into such a fine driver.
absolutely. And I mean, is it fair to say, Matt, that the smarter drivers are beginning to learn and pick up techniques from other drivers, pro and pro-am, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? And and I'll pick D Biggs for an example. D Biggs is super consistent, and certainly that's my philosophy on things: to be super consistent and not to make mistakes and not spend 25 seconds on the grass like I did last night. But you kind of pick up on what other people are doing, and the smart drivers will pick up what the others are doing and apply that to their own driving style, will they not?
Yeah, you'd think so. Like you say, you look at D Biggs and look how consistent he is. You look at yourself, and we know from a driver past season last year who was starting to adapt to your driving style. He then started to take a few better wins, a few podiums, a few higher positions, and he started to develop. A few drivers may be needing to look at this. Maybe Kieran's adapted this, because me and Dan were saying last night that Kieran looks like he's getting better. He looks like he's improved. It's just some talent. Everybody's then posted a lap. Mazda currently not the fastest boy out there. He's a couple of hundredths slower than Liam. He was a couple of tenths slower than Monkey Boy. But Andy leading the way, the only man in the 104s at the moment then.
Yeah, we don't really think. Oh, Phil is here. I thought Phil was.
Phil's got here.
So we got Phil and Sooty in tonight, which is nice. So where's Gary and Little Leach in my? Gary is 7th on a 105.5. Yeah. And Little Leach, I'm really interested to see those of you who did tune in last night and saw the Prolapse domination in race 1, and I'm interested to see how Gary and Little Leach what they do with the Renaults this evening, and see how good the Renault is in Pro Trim. As Little Leach just goes 7th. So going to be interesting to see. In practice, I feel certainly me and Nick didn't top the timing sheets on anything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But some really good results from us, and it might be down to the pep talk that Dan gave us, and I'll very quickly tell you about that. I just want to set the scene for you. Me and Nicky were doing our pre-race preparations in the Prolapse motorhome, which is a 1972 Caravan being pulled by a transit pickup. Yep. And we were just slipping into our race bikinis, and Dan burst into the room dressed as some sort of show jumping kind of guy with beige jumpers on and leather boots, and holding a riding crop, and he kind of smacked his own boot with his riding crop and said, "Right, boys, if you don't crack on and put these cars on the podium, you're going for a good spanking." So that was enough to scare me to death, so put it on the podium, really.
Indeed, as we say, even into Fury's moment there. And we spoke off air a minute ago, Kelly. Yeah. I said to you that I feel that Donington Park is very much like Laguna Seca, where it's a bit of a... It's a track where everything can be good around there. Nothing's too dominant. You've not got the power... It's not a power circuit like the Merc and the Porsche and Lamborghini can use. But then again, the corners are fast-flowing, good braking zones for the likes of the Renault or, the BMW in this case, to be good, as Dan has just got himself in as well. Let's not forget, I'm sure Dan has got a few feelings in the back of his mind based off of Donington last season, but we won't go into that one. But yeah, it's kind of like a track that is fair play for everybody, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what car you're in, it seems fair play. You look at these times, Mazda's gone into the 104s with Andy. You look back from Andy down to 10th place, where BT Targa is just over a second slower, sorry. But you look at this then, Monkey Boy's a 106.4. He's only a second slower than, a second and a bit slower than Disco in 3rd. The grid is separated by 1.9 seconds, and people might not be running at their best pace. People may have more to give. This is a very interesting track, a very interesting state to be in here tonight. We're in a very interesting predicament where a lot of these guys can be within that time. The two Lamborghinis are Phil and Sooty not got onto the pace yet. Monkey Boy's also not quite on that pace. We haven't seen what Dan can do, but obviously Dan's the current champion. He's not going to get to show his pace as Mazda's lost it at the chicane. Yeah. We're not going to see what Dan's going to do in this practice session, but we know we assume Dan is just going to be up there.
Yeah, I was going to give us a lap round, but we've kind of run out of time really.
Yeah.
I mean, Fury's here. He's just gone through the first corner, so he's coming down the hill through the Craner curves, down to the old hairpin.
Sorry, Kelly, just look at Gary's time a minute. 104.9, so he's only the third driver in the 104s. That kind of gives us what the sense of that Renault, what it can do around here.
We'll do a proper one as we get into qualifying. But this is the tricky area. It's up here, isn't it? That blind corner there, this one, Coppice. This is the one what everyone kind of complains about because you can't see it, and it's very easy to run out to the edge and then put a wheel on the grass. And then, of course, you've got to get momentum down the SimPlay straight, as we like to call it, to have any chance to overtake somebody into this chicane. And it's not. There's no real obvious overtaking opportunities as Fury's held onto it. Well done.
I think the obvious overtaking opportunities, get a good run out of the chicane down into Redgate corner, turn 1. I think that's a decent one. I think to set somebody up into the old hairpin down the Craner curves, I think you've got to be mad. I think you've got to be mad to set someone up through the Craner curves. It's doable.
I think you've got to. The other guy's got to make a mistake. I mean, I did. Yeah. Who did I do? I did somebody last night in the old hairpin, but they were running wide and left me a huge gap on the inside, which I took. So yeah, it's not easy. Probably up at the Craners between. Not up at the Craners, the Coppice corner. If you set it up the one before,
McLean's. I think McLean's is a very good overtaking opportunity, and I say that. Watched a lot of touring cars, Kelly. We both have in our days. Me being a Matt Neal fan, that's Matt Neal's favourite. Oh, Mazda's got himself a grid penalty. Oh. Can you believe it? Early doors. Now that is Matt Neal. McLean's corner just before Coppice is Matt Neal's favourite overtaking place on the grid because it's kind of, you don't hit the apex straight away. It's not as late as some tracks, but it's not an apex that you hit straight away. Does that look like it was Liam? Yeah, it was Liam who lost the car at Redgate corner. Yeah. McLean's, I think, is one that you can get them done. If they kind of miss that apex and leave the door open a bit at the beginning, you can kind of get up the inside, and that's what Matt Neal is known for. A bit of late braking up that inside at McLean's. Job done, because then they're on the outside and you can't really get that momentum on the outside towards Coppice.
That's right.
I think McLean's could be a decent corner for people to overtake. But like you say, tight track as well. Not a lot of room to overtake. You've kind of got to be patient and wait for these drivers to make their mistakes, haven't you?
McLean's is interesting because you can climb all over the curb quite well. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of what benefits. You can find a bit extra space and climb up on the curb without, there's not a big sausage curb there or whatever. You can kind of climb all over it. Oh, Disco. Oh, that's not a good start. Disco, is it? So, he's gone back in the pits. So, who else we got? Gary's in the pits as well. Great, fantastic. Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take you through a lap around this one, Kelly?
Yeah, can do.
I kind of fancy it.
Okay, who do you fancy? And
we'll stay on Dan. We'll go on board Dan because Dan's coming down the SimPlay straight as we named it last season. Evening to Jamie Brazier in the chat. Liam's racing again. Yeah, he worded his statement a bit wrong, Jamie, and was basically waiting till they come till he got his working college sorted. So out of the Fogarty S as Dan comes, as he nearly loses the rear of the car. Then down the start-finish straight here at Donington. Stay as far left as you can. Now, careful on the pit exit. You can cut it slightly as Daniel C does there. Into Redgate, pick up the braking zone. Down into third, maybe drop it into second. Dan, good run out. Use as much as the curb as you can. Try not to take too much. It will sort of unsettle the car. Through Hollywood, right-hand kink, you don't feel it. Down to the Craner curves you go now. Really, really difficult. Really twitchy the car can get. Hard on the brakes into the old hairpin. Down to fourth, maybe again third if you feel it. Dan, a bit twitchy there and runs a little wide. Again, left-hander there. You don't feel that one. Where Billy Munger had his fatal incident where he lost his legs, bless him. Again, a little left-hand kink, you don't feel that. McLean's now, that little late apex kind of corner. Run the curb on the outside. Now Coppice, how late dare you brake here? Uphill, unsighted is the corner. Try not to hit that curb too hard. It will sort of bounce you out to the outside. You see Dan keeping it very tight. Now, through the exit to Coppice, down the SimPlay straight. Used to be a lovely Dunlop bridge going just under where Dan is now, just over where Dan was then. Brake as late as you dare for the Fogarty S's. Again, try not to hit them too hard. It will unsettle the car. And that is a lap of Donington Park on board on Orthodox. What's his lap time going to be? I don't think a good one because he messed the chicane up. No, not a very good one. Look, a 106.4 then at the end.
Nicely
now,
done.
That Bozzy boy, as well
Matthew.
as... Thank you very much, Kelly. That Bozzy boy's got himself a grid penalty as well. And I can tell you, because that Bozzy is racing, currently sat in my conservatory racing at the minute, him and Matt both have a one-place grid penalty at the moment that I can tell you about. Liam normally races upstairs because his sim rig's broke, but today, Beth's busy in the bedroom. She's putting clothes away, putting the washing away, bless her. Liam's had to go into the conservatory, so I can actually see Liam's progress just by looking over my right shoulder tonight. And him and Mazda, grid penalties to start with. Mazda, the only man in the 104s, peaceful. Well, that's a change art for the books. He was very positive that he wasn't going to do well tonight. He's currently P2.
Yeah, positive wasn't the word I would have used. You're quite right. He was positive that he wasn't going to do very well. He was very disheartened when he was in a practice session that we were in just before we went on. But look at that, peaceful. Look, 105.0. Let's see how that goes on. We haven't seen a lot of 104s yet, so
no. At the minute. As it stands, Kelly, with half the time remaining, that's pole position for Peaceful. That's provisional pole because Mazda's got that grid penalty. Just looking at the timing screen on my phone, there's a few green sectors coming in, but not a lot of drivers improving as they go. Now, one driver who has just gone purple and at the top of the timing screens, as I say that, is Andy with a 104.2. So an impressive time there from him. And again, we said it last year, Andy is a very good qualifier. The guy can qualify really well. His racecraft's been what's let him down in the past, Kelly. But point for qualifying this time around, that really helps Andy out.
Yeah, he's been right up there, hasn't he? Every time, and you're right, he's a cracking qualifier. Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to know his average qualifying at the minute this season?
Oh yes, I was just thinking, what is his average qualifying? Go on.
I'm sure he was. He's got one pole position to his name, and he averages P3 at the moment in qualifying so far this season. And he's gone purple sector 1 yet again here. And he's gone green middle sector. So this lap of Andy's could really be an absolute flyer. Then could we see maybe a 103? Here then is he's gets right up onto the curb on the inside. X-Mark BT Targa Fury in the pit. Sutty's not yet done a time. Liam has just gone P3, so what a lap from Liam as Andy doesn't improve at the end of that one. Liam then up into P3, matching the same time as Peaceful Explosion. What a lap time from Liam.
Yes, indeed, and interesting that he goes up in front of him, isn't it? Considering Peaceful did the time first.
Now, another interesting
one. I don't know how that works.
Dan, Sutty at the minute, not yet set a lap time. We're halfway through qualifying. Sutty's not got a time on the board. So what is happening with Sutty Apex here then? The other one is Dan. Hasn't come through the field like we thought. 105.3, I mean, that's still a pretty quick time. But Dan not really improving here.
To be fair, well, no, even that, I'm not. Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, that's his teammate very wide there. Sorry, yes. No, he's probably running the hards.
And Daniel's a bit of a, get out there, do a load of laps and bring him into the right kind of window. He's up on his time, but he's all over the place, and he's up on the curbs, and he's again, when we jumped on with him, I think he was deep at the old chicane, so he went half a second faster, but didn't put him.
He's just gone up to P3, back into the 104s, but still a good 6/10 off the back of Andy. And I don't know, Dan just doesn't look. I mean, he's admitted he doesn't really like Donington, as Mazda's gone purple for sector 1, but no improvement sector 2. So I wonder what Mazda's doing. And he's coming to the end of his lap. I wonder if we can just catch the end of that one.
I was just drinking tea at the same time.
That's fine. Oh, he's gone across the line. He improved his time, apparently. No, he didn't. No, he did, A couple of tenths he improved, a couple of hundredths. But he's got that grid penalty that's going to hurt him. Gary, Sutty in the pit still hasn't done a lap time here. As Phil now jumps into the pits as well. Little Eat is in the pits. Gary down in P12 at the minute. His Mazda runs a bit wide there. Sutty Apex, what is happening with Sutty Apex at the minute? Down in 15th. Well, he's not got a lap time set.
No. Maybe he's taking the pick him off from the back kind of theory. Because he does have some strange ideas about things. Going around Surgo in the wet on slicks and putting his tyre pressures up to over plus 30. He does have some funny ideas about things. Does our Sutty. We saw the City send it last week.
We did.
We did, and wasn't it a joy to see? Wasn't it? Great move.
Beautiful.
And I did it last night in lap 1, but nobody will see it because it was one on the stream.
Yeah, because me and Alfie got disconnected from the stream. Dan then back in the pit lane. He's got time to get out and get 1, maybe 2 runs in.
He'll have to crack on.
Disco as well as coming to the pits. Now look at the top 11 again, separated by a second. Fury's just gone into P3. Great lap from Fury.
Into the force.
That's put Gary down into 14th place. And look at that, 1.1 seconds separate the top 13 drivers here. If Gary and Sutty get a good lap in, then you know, and can get within that second marker. We could have all the drivers within a second of each other. This is a very, very close qualifying. Fury, though, in that Wakasaki Racing Mercedes with Liam, with that Bozzy boy Liam today, as BT Targa up on his time at the minute. That Wakasaki Racing could score some good points based off of their pace at the minute. The question is how consistent will they be in the race? As I just look over my shoulder, and Liam's lost it coming into McLean's. Big loss as well, that. Lost the rear of the car, maybe taking us too much speed into the corner. Here comes BT Targa, though. 1.1 off the back of the leader, and improves his time. Goes P11. He's now under a second, so the top 13 separated by a second now. Where's Gary on the track?
I was just going to say, what's Gary playing at the moment?
45 seconds remaining, so a lot of these boys will get one final run in, bar Xmart. Xmart will not get another lap. Gary's a 10th up.
It's not much, is it?
He was a 104.8 in practice. BT Targa and Fury as well, they're done. 104.8 in practice. Gary hasn't got that pace here. That's good enough for P4, P3 maybe at the minute.
He's got 20 laps, 20 litres of fuel in as well. Isn't he?
Now, Gary coming across the line, he'll get one more run at this. Will he improve this time? He does. 0.6 of a second puts him up to 13th, means the top 14 are separated by a second. Where's Sooty Apex crosses the line? 1.7. So if he can improve his time on his final run, maybe we'll have the whole field under a second. Phil's in the pits, D Biggs is in the pits, as is Fury X Mark BT. Andy, 100th up on his time, 16,000ths of a second then, was purple in sector 1. Dan's at Coppice. No, he's behind. Dan's the car behind Andy.
So Andy comes into the chicane. We know he was up a little bit. It'd be nice if we put it in the 3s, wouldn't he?
It'd be brilliant.
He would have had to find a little bit extra to do that as he goes.
Yeah, it doesn't improve.
No quicker.
No, Dan, no quicker. Dan comes through the chicane now then, and that is Peaceful or Monkey Boy just behind him. Dan then goes P3. So that is job done. If you're Dan, it's a front row start though, because Mazda with his grid penalty will not start on the front row of the grid. Here's Monkey Boy coming across. He's only 8/10 down. Line. Yeah, very interesting line there. Can he get it done?
It doesn't work. It doesn't try to work. Trust me, it doesn't work across there.
Sooty Apex will be the last man. Liam went gone 4th in the very end as Liam there. So Liam improves to 4th. Little Leach crosses the line, goes 7th. Sooty in the end goes 15th. Improves his time though. So the top, I think the top, all 15 drivers are within that second marker of each other. But it is Andy who is P1 in this qualifying session at the moment, and what a lap from him. Again, that's his second pole of the season. Mazda with a grid penalty will give the front row of the grid to Dan in P2. It will then be Mazda in P3 lining up there. P4 will be that Bozzy boy. What a lap from him at the very end to pip his teammate Fury, who is P5. P6 is D Biggs. P7 for Little Each. Good qualifying for him. P8 then for Disco McDisco Face in the other BMW. Peaceful, I'm sure, would have taken a P9 at the beginning of this one, and only 7/10 off the pole. That isn't too bad for Peaceful Explosion. His teammate Monkey Boy is in P10, with Xmart then down in P11. BT Targa is P12 in this one for this first race. Gary then 13th, 9/10 off the back of the leader, and Sooty Apex did improve, so the top 15 are covered by 1 second. Phil's 14th, Sooty's 1.5 seconds, apologies, off the back, but 1.5 seconds between the top 15 boys. That is some going.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a short lap around here, but yes, you're right. You look at Sooty or Phil in 14th, less than a second away from the front, but that's 14th. That feels like you've had a disastrous day, doesn't it? But yeah, it's that's the joys of a tight track and a competitive field.
Oh, no, sorry, I said that it is. You're right. I said that Liam would start ahead of Fury. Apologies. Fury will start ahead of Liam because Liam had a grid penalty as well. But I'm sure Liam will take a P5 now. Look at this interesting grid we've got here. I'll let you talk us through it, Kelly.
Andy on pole, and looking good for his second pole of the season. Unorthodub's going to give him a hard time into turn 1. Mazda is certainly improving in that Merc because he's made it work here, so expecting good things from Fury. We've said so much about Fury tonight, so many good things. Good effort into 4th. That Bozzy boy, another cracking effort into 5th place, 1 grid penalty, so he did actually qualify 4th. D Biggs got a bit of work to do from there, but I've no doubt he will. Little Leach, the quickest of the Renaults, in 7th place. Disco expected him a bit further up than that, but I'm sure he will progress. And that's not so bad, Mike, is it really? Going quite well considering his trials and tribulations earlier. His teammate right beside him in 10th. The beautiful Prolapse Porsche of Exmart in 11th, and the matching one of BT in 12th. Gary right towards 13th, and with a lot to do back there, but the Renault's good round here. And you've got Phil in 14th, and Sooty bringing up the rear. It's going to be some send it if he can put it into first place from there.
If he sends it
time round.
If he sends it from there from 15th to first at turn 1,
that'll be the move of the year, wouldn't it?
And if he makes that stick without making contact, I think we'll crown Sooty the king of the send it. But he's got something to both
he's already the king of the
Lamborghinis.
send it, isn't he?
Well, yes, both Lamborghinis at the back row of the grid though. Sooty on his own.
Yeah.
Phil lines up alongside Gary. Row 2 is for me an interesting one. Fury and Mazda. Who gets that Mercedes away the best? Now we are synced up. There's a few lights coming on. We're on board the race leader. Who is going to get the base race start? Who is going to get away well as we enter this first race, round 7? It's go. Mazda's not moved. Liam looks like he's got a great start. Mazda did not get off the line well at all. Sooty as well in the background. Poorly gets away and down into turn 1. Liam will be ahead of Mazda. Dan tries to attack Andy around the outside, looking for a cutback, can't get it done. That's Fury all over the grass. D Biggs as well has got a good launch. He's up into 4th. Little Each as well ahead of Mazda then, and Fury drops down a few places. He was on the outside into turn 1, and I tell you what, Mazda did not move there, but Liam up to P3 already. Andy and Dan away. Everybody looks through cleanly.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty even start. As you say, Mazda went a little bit backwards and Liam's gone forwards, but they all seem to be clean. Fury had a bit of a shocker and went.
Sorry, I tell you who's had an amazing start. Just looking at the leaderboard, Gary's gone from 13th up into P8, and just as I said, he's gone P8. He's round at McLean's, and he's going to drop right down to last. He got to 8th halfway through the lap. That was fantastic from Gary, but dropping down the order he is a little bit now, and that's Little Each as well dropping down with him. The two Renaults is Andy. Who's that? I think that's D Biggs and Disco. A few handbags there side by side into the fog of TS's. Through they go. It's all still clean, and they're all still going.
Yeah, and Disco flashing his lights at D Biggs there. I don't know if that's in anger or just trying to put him off a little bit. I had to flick. I thought it was Andy and Dan, because Dan has made it into first place. I didn't see where he'd done it. I think he's just done it in turn 1 actually. And but he's done Andy. He was all over the back of him like a cheap suit all the way through lap 1, and has got him done in the first corner, I believe. So that's this hopefully is going to be a titanic battle. Andy's not going to let him go that easily, is he?
No, he's not. You wouldn't imagine Andy will let him go that easily, and it's a long old race. There's 28 laps. Liam, P3, kind of in no man's land at the minute, as D Biggs has Disco, Fury, Mazda and Monkey Boy all over the back of him. Fury's got back ahead of Mazda. Little Each here then, looking on the back of Exmart as Gary and BT are having a bit of a battle further down the order. Here goes Little Each then. Good run out to McLean's there, as we've just cut back to Andy and Dan.
Yeah. Andy was all over the back of Dan there as they came out of Coppice there, and I thought he might have a run down through. Let's go back. Little Leach, I think.
Yeah, he's got him done.
Yeah, got him done there. Where we were saying really at what's Coppice. The corner before?
McLean's.
McLean's.
Yeah.
Got him done at McLean's by the looks of it. Monkey Boy's having a look at Maz, and Fury just in front of these two as well. So quite a midfield battle at the the
Yeah, quite a midfield.
These guys.
Indeed, quite a midfield battle indeed. And that's Disco then who's made a mistake. Yeah. He's gone very deep at Redgate, and they come through Hollywood now. Monkey Boy having a look at Mazda at the Crane of Curves. It'd be a brave man to go side by side down towards the old hairpin. Tucks back in and forgets that one. But Disco then losing out massively on the back of D Biggs. He was for a while. He's now lost out, and that's allowed Fury, Mazda and Monkey Boy through. Gary's in the pit. Now he's got to pit again. The pit window doesn't open until lap 6 here. So Gary will have to pit again in this one. Not sure what's happened there. But Gary already into the pit lane then. Monkey Boy and Mazda up to 6th and 7th place. Peaceful's dropped back to 13th, so I'm not sure what's happened with him. But Mazda, now we know he was struggling on tyre as well. There's Monkey Boy just losing the rear. Has he kept it together? I think he's kept it going. Yes, just. But Sooty Apex will get past him. Sooty's also got past Disco. They had a bit of fireworks last week. A few Sooty send-its, a few ding-dongs between them two. But Sooty's got past at the moment. Now then, there's D Biggs, there's Fury, there's Mazda, there is Sooty. The leaders have gone. Liam as well is kind of checked out from this group of cars as well.
Yes, indeed. Liam's kind of keeping him honest and has dropped D Biggs a little bit, and looks like Dan has dropped Andy a little bit. 2.5 seconds.
Has Andy I think Andy may have made a mistake. Look, 106 was Andy's lap. Dan lapping in the 104s. I reckon Andy's made a mistake somewhere.
Well, you say that. Everybody else.
Oh, that's Gary. Gary's made a mistake. Yeah, Gary was round in the background just then. He is having a nightmare here. He's got to pit again and has now got to wait for the whole field to come around and lap him here. Gary gets it going now. There's Xmark getting back through. Little Leach has lost out. He's dropped down to 13th place, so I'm not sure what's happened to him. Sooty Apex then trying to get back on the rear, trying to get on the rear of Master. As Master just slowly making inroads on Fury, and as you say that, he's lost the rear of the car and round he goes. Master's then dropped it, and has Disco just caught Master there, I wonder? I saw both cars looking a bit jumpy. Yeah, I think he has. Oh, Monkey Boy!
It's all turning.
Mazda's got some huge damage on his car. There's no rear spoiler on that. Mazda's going to have to pit twice. End of lap 6 is the pit window opening in these pros, and that is Mazda's race pretty much ruined. That looks ruined for Mazda in this race.
Yeah, going back to lap times, the point I was trying to say before we got involved in some incidents there is that Dan is the only man that's quick. Everyone else is in like the 6s and the 7s. So I don't think Andy's pace, or Andy didn't really make a mistake. I think Daniel's pace is just stellar.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree, really. There's Dan, there's Andy, there's Liam. Look, kind of staying with Andy as well. Was a bit quicker than Andy on the last lap, so that Bozzy boy looking good value for his money at the minute. Lap 5 of 28, though. He's got a long way to go. His teammate as well, looking to get past D-Biggs. Now, we said about Slingshot Motorsport challenging Shake and Bake. Look at the Wakasaki Racing boys up there in 3rd and 5th.
Yes, indeed. And we didn't see the Mercs do very well last night in Pro-Am, but we certainly know that Pro-Am and Pro are two very different things when it comes to how the cars perform and in the hands of these more experienced, quicker drivers.
Yeah, they are indeed. Andy now into the 105s, a bit quicker than Dan on the last lap as Mazda's out the pits, just ahead of where he was before he lost the car. How convenient is that one for him then? So he's not that much of a lap down to everybody else, but he's got to pit a second time. So does Disco and Gary 131. Their race has gone from bad to worse at the start of this one. They'll probably be able to qualify top 7, cannot qualify for race 2, but hey, this is race 1, lap 6 of 28 here. Fury still looking to gain on the back of that Porsche of D-Biggs. Now, D-Biggs, we call him Mr. Consistent, we say everything, but it hasn't been up there as much this year. Is that because Andy's gone in the BMW, Fury's got promoted in that Mercedes, Disco looks quicker? Do we think that that his good form isn't as good?
Well, you say that, but D-Biggs was right there with Dan last year in the championship. Remember, he was last season. You remember, he was right there, wasn't he? He was a contender right up to the end as well. So I don't know. I mean, let's say D-Biggs has had some time out, and he's been on holiday and whatever. And look at this man. I was just about to start talking about Sooty. At the back of the grid. Remember, he started. And he's up to 6 in 7 laps.
He's up to 4th at the minute. What's happened to Liam? I think he's lost it somewhere because he's dropped behind these 3. Look, he's gone behind D-Biggs, Fury and Sooty. Sooty then hassling the back of Fury at the minute. And like you say, from the back of the grid, this is a good drive. That
Where's
Lamborghini.
Andy? What's up to Andy?
He's pitted. He's just pitted.
Oh, he's just pitted. Right, okay.
BT Targa as well has just come into the pits.
Right, that would make sense then. These two hassling the back of D-Biggs. And I was going to say, as I said, Sooty, we were talking about how he does crazy things because he's a crazy kind of guy, and started at the back of the grid and is now up to 4th. And as I say, we're 7 laps in. So,
where's D-Biggs gone? Where's D-Biggs? Oh, he's very wide at Coppice, and that's allowed that Bozzy boy, Fury and Sooty back through then to D-Biggs, making a huge, horrific mistake at Coppice. Fury was right on the back of him. I don't know if they touched, but either way, Biggs wide at Coppice, and look at the launch. Sooty gets through the chicane as Fury then dives into the pits at the end of lap 7.
So, interesting to follow Sooty. We'll see how he gets on. As he has a bit of a twitch into the first corner, but we'll see how he gets on as this race unfolds. So who we got then? Andy is now into 5th. He was running 2nd, so he's I would say he's still net 2nd with the guys in front of him. So it's Dan not choosing to pit just yet. We're only lap 8. So who else has pitted? Phil and Peaceful in the pits as we speak. And as is Gary for about the 9th time already this
Gary's
evening.
been in and out, so that's Gary's mandatory stop at least done, so it's just Master and Disco that's got to come back into the pit lane then. Peaceful having a long one here.
Yep. Absolutely. Sorry, I was just reading some of the comments in thingy, and Nikki saying that's exactly the way it went. My little story about our pep talk last night. Of course it is. Of course, I wouldn't lie about something like that. You know, I wouldn't exaggerate. No way.
No. Someone here, Kelly, that's gone under the radar a little bit. We say about Sutty coming from the back. Look at Exmart up in P4 at the moment. Trying to hassle the back of Liam as well. Liam just in front of him by a couple of seconds. But Exmart here has quietly gone about his business. He's quietly got himself up into P4. I know a few cars are pitted, but good, consistent pace from Exmart at the minute and doing the job which he needs to do. A couple of tenths quicker than Liam on the last lap. Look at Sutty into the 105s now as well as Monkey Boy brings it in at the end of lap 8. Exmart, though, doing exactly what he needs to do here.
Now, just excuse me for having the memory power of a goldfish. Was I that car or the other one? Was mine 119?
You was 119. You was BT.
119?
You were BT Targus.
BT Targus got my one, hasn't he? I was going to give tell Nicky to give Exmart a hard time for damaging it again. Look what he's done to the side of it. But that's Nicky's car, so yeah, Nicky can tell him off for that one. Where is BT? Not having such a good run, is he?
No, but BT has pitted though at the minute, so BT has been into the pits. The race leader is now into the pit lane as well. BT down in 11th. Sutty follows Dan in, so he's in for their pit stop.
Liam!
No, that's Bozzy into the pits, and he's just got himself a time penalty as well. He got himself a grid penalty in the race. He's got himself a 10-second penalty.
Look. Oh, Dan gets just out in front of Andy. And look, I mean just.
Oh, just,
Andy must have had a hell of a couple of laps.
And we said last night, Kelly, that the undercut seems the quicker way. Liam had a fantastic pit stop, can I just say, but it's got himself a 10-second penalty. The undercut seemed the more stronger pit stop last night.
Well, yeah, you say this, Matt, but I mean, from my team, from me and Nicky, Nicky definitely had a quicker stop. He had, over a second quicker. So, if all things were equal, like in Formula One, where they're all in the kind of 3-second mark, then, different times, different pit stops. And with the pit stop strategy now that, I'm going to call it a strategy and not a glitch anymore, because people are beginning to understand how to work it.
Yeah.
It's still really quite random what you're going to get.
No, 100%. What I will say, though, is that there was more people undercutting others than overcutting last night. The undercut seemed to be the case. Now, obviously, we can't tell how quick these boys are in the pits. It won't show us at Donington Park what their pit stops are because it doesn't pan around to the garages. But the undercut last night seemed to work more times than none. That's Mazda, who is round and has retired. So that's not a good start to his evening, then.
No, indeed. And... look at Andy. Andy's looking very racy. Dan kind of pulled away from him in the early stages, but Andy certainly got onto the back of it now. Really up there, Andy? I thought he was going to have a go at that for a minute. But
he's having
Dan
a look, isn't he?
And he goes... He was very tight before he got into McLean's, isn't it? I'll get it in a minute.
Yeah.
And, he was very tight before he went in there. And I don't know if that's just, the car just drifting out.
Dan's had a huge slide through Coppice Corner there. And that's going to give Andy a big smile on his face because he's really now looking down the back. Gary has been promoted to P4 team. He's not close enough. I don't think the chicane's really a move to overtake. Set the car up through there. But Andy can take positives that Dan's a bit twitchy in the car as Exmart comes into the pits at the end of lap 11 then. Andy can take positives that that Dan's sliding all over the place.
Yes, absolutely. And Andy will be thinking, right, let's hassle this guy and try and work him into a mistake. Dan seems to keep going wide a lot at the old hairpin, so I'd be trying to stay as close to him as possible through this section. Dan has a tendency to run wide as he does it. Andy does the run.
As Dan does it well and Andy goes wide,
Yeah, just the opposite to what I was saying. But and a better line there for Andy into McLean's.
Indeed. Just not close enough to Dan, is he, really?
No, not at the moment. He wants to be right here.
He's hit the curb hard. He's had a huge moment at Coppice there, and that's allowed Dan to get away as Dan runs wide on the exit as well. Disco then is the only man to pit as everybody else is now pitted. Disco pitted before the window. He's got to pit before the end of lap 20, and so far so good. If you are Dan and Andy, they're pulling a nice gap. Sutty is well in front of Fury. You got the jump of him in the pit stop there, and D-Biggs still, but D-Biggs actually lost out to Fury, so D-Biggs not getting the jump on Fury. In fact, no, D-Biggs was off, wasn't he, early on? D-Biggs jumped Lidley, that Bozzy Boy, sorry, as Disco's just got past that Bozzy Boy, as I think his pedals have disconnected because I'm looking over my shoulder and he's slow coming down the SimPlay straight here. I don't know if we've got that on the track. Yeah, he's come to a standstill. Look, he's trying to get his pedals to work and he is being overtaken by everybody here. And what was a good start to the night for Liam is turning into a disaster. That's Peaceful, who's had an off somewhere and still manages to get in front. And I think he's got them working now. He's not fully sat back in his chair yet. No, he's not. Yeah, he's not got this properly yet. This has turned into one heck of a bad night, and he's now got 30 seconds. He's sat back in his chair properly. He's back away now, but he's lost pretty much a lap to these guys. What was P3 at the start of this race has turned into a disaster in this race.
Yes, now look, now all the pit stops are done and dusted. Look at the man in third place.
Yeah. What a job he's done. What a job he's done. From 15th on the grid. We've had one retirement in Mazda, but what a job that Sutty has done here. He has brought this car from the back of the grid up towards the front. He's not on the pace of the front two, but we could be speaking to Sutty for the first time in 2 seasons here because he is having a fantastic drive in that Lamborghini. He's well clear of Fury by 5 seconds as well. He's got the job done at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely, and let's hope he just keeps it all together and could put this one on the podium. Could it be nice to see him back on the podium? And from 15th on the grid would be a stellar effort for sure. Up front, and he's still about half a second off Dan, so he's just biding his time.
Come back at him a bit though, hasn't he?
He has. I think it's ebbing and flowing. To be fair,
ebbing and flowing. It really is.
It really is. Dan kind of gets away a little bit, and then Andy comes back at him. And kind of there we go. Dan flashing his lights, and what's he flashing his lights at? Has he got a back marker in front of him?
There's no back. There's a back marker well up the road, but nowhere in the way. Andy, huge moment through the chicane, and that's lost him a couple of tenths then to Dan down the start-finish straight. And at the minute, that's really not what Andy wants.
I think they're trading little errors, you know.
They seem to be, don't they? They're also trading the lap times. Andy was 3 tenths quicker on the last lap. Dan was 3 tenths quicker that lap just done. And I think it's just some little silly errors that they're both making that he's just costing them all the time here.
Yeah, so he's a bit further back this time. He's got that little mistake just cost Andy a little bit. And he's got to just bring it back to Dan a little bit. But
as Disco's in.
Disco's in.
That is now everybody. The end of lap 14. Everybody has now done their pit stop. Disco then, well done, Tim. He pitted before the pit window. Where's that going to put him in this? Has he got a good pit stop done? He's not really. He's starting to drop down the order now. Look, he's dropped down to 9th, 10th. Yeah, he's just dropped down to 10th, and he's out the pit. So I mean, he's lost 4 places. So I mean, that's not too bad, but he's also on the back of that battle between. I mean, let's just go to Little Each and fill in all them lot a minute, because I mean, look at the dots on the map. There is a load of them together. Look at these cars. You've got Gary in the mix. You've got Phil. There's one of the Team Prolapse Porsches up front. Gary's off at the old hairpin. We've got Little Each just behind Xmart. You've got Disco just behind Little Each a bit further back. There he is. Look at this gaggle of cars here. Cracking battle as Little Each closing in on the back of Xmart. And can't get the job done. Little Each seems to have the best of this Renault tonight.
Although his brother's a lap down, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's last.
Coming up to lap him. Yeah, I think that's been unfortunate for Gary. That's for certain sure. But it's hard. I mean, we know the Renault was good last night. It was consistent. We know it's good on the brakes. It's good in the turns. But I think it's outclassed by some of these cars here. Do you know what I mean? And that's, that's where.
He's having a look. Oh, he had a look there into turn 1 into Redgate Corner, did Little Each there, but couldn't get the job done on Xmart. Gary, don't forget, doesn't have to get out of the way. He's able to stay there and run his race as normal. Can Gary hunt down Liam? He only needs to get within 10 seconds of Liam, let's not forget. Because of Liam's 10-second penalty, Liam will finish 14th after Mazda's retirement. Little Each wide at the old hairpin as well. A good little battle this. Another one developing is Phil and BT Targa just in front of this as Little Each has dropped off the back of Xmart now. Here is BT Targa trying to get on the back of that Lamborghini. Look, it's not too far away. It's half a second is that gap, and BT just plugging away. Phil as well, 14th on the grid, let's not forget. Second to last with Sutty. He's up into 6th place. So the two Lamborghinis have had a good race here.
Little Leach had a bit of a moment in the background. We saw a sign get smashed to bits, and he's kind of dropped off the back of Xmart a little bit. So he's had a bit of a moment, and he's got to do all that hard work again, as we can see. As looks like Xmart is going to lap Gary, and Gary's let him through. Got out of the way and did the right thing when he needed to. As you said, no, the back markers do not have to overtake. It's their own. How courteous they want to be, really. Although it's a bit rude if they fight back, but not saying that Gary was, but if they do, you know. But I think Gary's being held up a little bit by Xmart, to be honest. But Gary's a long way off any kind of points or any kind of result. So.
Yeah, he's got 3 seconds to Liam, so Liam's race is going from bad to worse. Look, as there he is, and look, he's letting the leaders through, but he's just like Gary through at the same time. Oh, Little Leach has just caught Liam. We didn't catch it on the stream. I look over my shoulder. Little Leach has just caught Liam, and that's lost him a place to Disco. Yeah, I think so. Liam had spun at Coppice, and Little Leach, I think, coming round trying to. I don't know what happened, but I saw Little Leach's car hit the front of Liam's car then, as Liam was sort of spinning at Coppice, and that's put Little Leach behind Disco McDisco Face and down into P10.
Yeah, not a great night for the Leachy losers tonight. The Renault not again, probably just not a pro car choice, is it?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
no.
It's however much I'm ranting and raving about the Renault, it's just a little bit outclassed in the pros.
Yeah, no. BT Targa then trying to get back on Phil, and I think the Lamborghinis have had the best of this race so far, by both last and second to last, and both running third and sixth at the minute. So great drive from these Lamborghini boys. Real good, successful night for them at the minute. As Peaceful back into the pits. Now, why is he in the pits? Does that allow Gary to get an extra place in this one then? Peaceful, I wonder how. This is the problem with Donington. Look, you just cannot see. He's in. I mean, we can't really tell either what damage he's got. It looks a long one, though. It looks a very long one. Now, Gary's 34 seconds behind. Where is Gary? He was round this lot.
He was, yeah.
He's there.
He's just coming into the chicane now.
Yeah, he's apparently 40 seconds behind Peaceful Explosion, but I don't think that's true. I think he's going to pass Peaceful right now. Yes, he is, look. That's because Peaceful is in the pits. It's glitched it out. Liam as well, then, might just pass Peaceful, depending on when Peaceful gets going here. But Liam is a fair way back himself. He's only just coming through Coppice Corner at the minute then. Further up the grid, Fury trying to get back on the back of D-Biggs. BT still on the back of Phil as well. That one is close. And Disco trying to hunt down Xmart. 5th place again for Fury. I'm sure he'll take that. Good points again.
Yeah, Andy's coming. Andy dropped back a little bit from Dan for a couple of laps, but he's starting to reel him back in again, back within kind of 6 or 7 tenths of Dan. So still 8 laps to go. So we've still got a chance to do this. Again, as I say, week in, week out, you guys don't see it, but we have little markers on our screen to tell you who's close to who's within a second. And really this and BT, Xmark getting a bit closer to BT.
Yeah, BT has BT had a problem? He was closer to Phil than that.
Yeah, he was closer. Yeah, he was closer to Phil than that. And now I think BT might have had a little bit of a moment just in the last chicane, actually. So the 2 Pro Laps cars running line astern is 7th and 8th at the moment. Xmart, as I said, is close to BT, as you can see. And the only other battle on track is the leaders, as I said, is Andy on Dan. Sooty, the timing's gone all over the place now, but Sooty, I think it's about 12 seconds back.
Yeah,
12 seconds back.
Yeah.
And D-Big's another 12 on that. So Sooty pretty much, apart from the back markers, is in no man's land, really. Just running his own race, isn't he?
Yeah, it really is. Oh,
no.
Catch it. He keeps it going. Yeah, he's got 12 seconds to Biggs. Them little mistakes he can make. But, I mean, there's still, Kelly, though, a long way to go in this one. Lap 21 of 28. There's still a while to go in this race. Andy's still got plenty of time. D-Biggs has got plenty of time. Fury as well. Fury's granddad saying Fury's had a moment. He's still close to the back of D-Biggs. He's still within that 3 or 4 second area of Biggs, where he's been now for a few laps that I've seen then, as Xmart and Disco have got past BT Targa. So what's happened to BT Targa then? Has he had another moment somewhere? Because there he is, look. On the back of Disco, and Xmart's got through as well.
There, yeah. So, I don't know what's happened to BT.
Oh,
he looks a bit...
Yeah.
He looks kind of all over the place a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A couple of guys, and a bit like last night, actually, a couple of guys who we thought would perform better and haven't. Do you know what I mean? This man being one of them, you know, was hoping a bit more from Disco.
Yeah, I think he got caught up in an incident with Mazda, though, Kelly.
Absolutely. He had his trials and tribulations. And again, where is Mazda?
He's retired early on. There's 21 people watching, 13 likes. Guys, let's smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new. Mazda retired early on, so he won't score a point in this. Bearing in mind, he's lost all points, so could really do with a few points to his name. Otherwise, we'll still be on zero.
Can he get minus points?
Well, he's retired from one race. If you retire, don't forget you've got to do 80% of the season, so 4 retirements, and he's retired from 2 races this season because he retired from one where he scored points in, so that doesn't count because he did the 75% distance. So he's only got 1 retirement to his name, but if he gets 4 more and ends up having 5 retirements that's not 75% distance, you lose 25 points, so he could end up minus 25. Dan! He's lost it! Dan's lost it! I think he's managed to keep it out the wall. Yes, he has. But Andy is now well over a second in the lead, and just when Dan was looking a bit comfortable, we said it's looked twitchy at times, Kelly, and twitch it has.
I thought I was just about to comment how he rode that sausage curve. He missed the apex in the first part of the chicane and then rode the sausage curve, and that's what messed him up, really. I mean, he was good to catch it, to be honest, especially with the Porsche. When the Porsche starts to swap ends, there's usually nothing you can do to stop it. But Dan's kept hold of it. But then if he had spun it right round, he has got 16 seconds back to Sooty. So, but can Dan get back on Andy now, or is Dan just going to let it go?
That's the big question, isn't it? 5 laps left in this race. 1.7 is the gap, and these two have really been changing lap times. Just the odd mistake between the pair of them. But so far, so good. Now, Fury's had a moment somewhere. He was a couple of seconds back. He's now 11 seconds back. He's actually closer to Phil than D-Biggs. He's 10 seconds off the back of D-Biggs. So he's had a moment somewhere. Unlucky for Fury because he was looking for a 4th place here. But Phil now trying to get on the back of him, with X-Mark trying to get on the back of Phil, and Disco trying to stay with the back of X-Mark. BT trying to get on the back of Disco. And yeah, it's all starting to kick off between these boys. Yeah, it certainly is. And BT's the only one who's close to somebody, as he goes very deep in the old chicane. And
old hairpin. Old hairpin, sorry.
Yep, you're right.
Old hairpin. It's quite easy to go deep there, and it is. There's actually an awful lot of grip on the kind of whatever they've got, like kind of matting and a bit of grass and a bit of dirt and all the rest of it. There is quite a lot of grip there. You can kind of keep your foot in. Even when you've run wide on that one. Yeah, no, you can. It's not really a place that you can lose the car. As Andy then has a 1.6 second lead. He's coming up to the back of Little Leach, who is just behind. I say just behind. He's 10 seconds behind BT and Disco. So Little Leach could end up a lap down here. Gary then about 32 seconds off the back of Monkey Boy. So the GQ Motorsport boys not having a good night. And I think that's Liam round again. Yeah, it was. And Sooty still, he's 9 seconds to D-Biggs here, but still keeping his pace just relatively good. Nice and calm from Sooty at the minute. Nothing too drastic. He knows that a podium's good for him. He doesn't need to push. He's not going to catch the leaders by the end of this race, but at the same time, he's got 10 seconds to Biggs, so he can't take it too steady, but he can go steady enough. Yeah, absolutely. And with 4 laps to go, I think he can just ease off a little bit and just make sure he gets it home into 3rd place. Because as you say, he's got 10 back to D-Biggs, who's not really set. He's a couple of tenths quicker than Sooty, but nothing much. No. He's not hunting him down with any kind of gusto, really, is he? So no, not at all. I would say with 3 laps to go, who's that off? Is that that's Liam? Liam again? Yeah. It's I would say going to be a hard push for any changes of position now in this one, I would say. I think X-Mark may have the best chance there. Look in the background, he's a couple of tenths off the back of Phil. Look, there is X-Mark, there is Phil. We don't see a lot of Phil. He seems to go under the radar so many times. We don't see a lot of Phil, do we? And back in his traditional Lamborghini, back in the same colours as season 1 and 2, he gave up the Acura. God knows why, because he was brilliant in it. Because Phil actually had a fair few 4th and 5th places in that Acura and made it look a decent car. We know Sooty had that good qualifying, but Phil seemed to race well in it. And I said this to Sooty off air in the week.
Don't you feel that Phil's season in the Acura was better? He seemed to be able to drive the stable car a bit more. And I'm not talking the Acura as the Acura, I'm talking the stability of the car better through the corners. So it could have buld been the McLaren, could have been the Ferrari, could have been the Renault. But Phil seemed to have a better season in that than his first and second season in the Lamborghini. And so far this season, he doesn't seem to have had the results to match as well. I wonder if Phil prefers the more stable car.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, a Lamborghini's not one that I've driven. I haven't driven many of these cars, to be fair. I tend to get in one car and then stick with it and don't try the others. So I know Dan rants and raves about the Lamborghini. He really likes it, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he says it's very understeery. That's what he likes about it. So
yeah,
this is what I mean. Does Phil prefer that more stable car that doesn't really understeer, doesn't really oversteer? Gary in the pits again here. So is he going to lose out to Peaceful in this race? Not quite sure why he's back in the pits, but Gary has had a night he'd love to forget. I'm sure so would Peaceful and Liam.
Yeah.
And Monkey Boy for that matter.
And yeah, I mean, last night this threw up some interesting scenarios, didn't it? And there was a lot of people who we thought would do better and should normally do better, and didn't last night. So Donny's certainly throwing it up. And why is that? Why is that? A lot of people have driven this track, haven't they?
What is what?
Why are people dropping it so much around Donny? Why are people having such horrible rounds? It's not like we haven't been here before, is it?
No, again, and I don't really know the answer to this. That's Gary just coming out the pits. 22 people watching, 13 likes. Guys, girls, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new. I don't really know the answer to this. As Andy's about to start the last lap of the race, Dan's catching Andy a bit here. Dan's pushing hard. I don't think he's got enough to do it as they put a lap on Liam. Donny, why do people lose it a lot at Donny? I don't really know. Personally, home circuit, I love the place. Know it like the back of my hand. I like Donny, love Donny. I don't seem to lose it a lot round here. Why do other people? I don't know. I do feel that it has to suit your driving style. I really do.
Do you think maybe? I mean, I had a better round this time than I've had in any other car ever. Do you know what I mean? So, but the Renault suits my driving style.
Yeah.
But do you think it's one of those tracks that kind of lures you into going quicker?
Yes.
And then bites you?
I do. I 100% think that this is a circuit which can, like you say, lure you in, pull you into trying to take the corners quicker, because they don't look like anything, these corners. They look quite quick. We'll get back to that as Andy then. This is the end of the race. Well, I was just about to say, we're just going to get to Andy then, as he's going to finish this race P1. His second win of the season, stops the run of Dan, who gets a P2. Sooty Apex, he's going to be a man with a smile. We'll jump to him. But yeah, I think that a lot of these corners, Kelly, are very fast, and you look like you can take them quicker, and that's where people make mistakes. People try to take it too quick, and it doesn't work. Sooty then, through the chicane for the final time, he is going to take himself a P3 back on the podium. What a job from that man. What a night he has had there. Especially in terms of points over everybody else. D Biggs, solid again, P4, third, ninth, sixth, and starting this one with a fourth place. Good job from D Biggs in that one then. Just behind him that's Monkey Boy crossing the line, I do believe. Fury then, another good solid finish for Fury. A good P5, good solid finish. Another man who I think will be very happy is Phil. Best result of the season with a P6, just ahead of Gary there in 14th. Look, but Phil, very good. Disco, what happened to Xmart at the end? Disco comes across for P7. Xmart then will finish in P8. With BT Targa will finish P8, sorry. Xmart will finish P9th. Little Each will come home in P10, with Gary getting... who got fastest lap, actually? I think it was Andy. No, it was Dan, with the looks of it. Little Each P10, Monkey Boy came across P11, Gary got P13, Peaceful P12, Gary P13, that Bozzy Boy P14, and looking at the fastest laps, it was Dan who got the fastest lap, so Andy didn't get the clean sweep in race one. But what a good job from these boys. Andy, Dan, Sooty, the mans, will get in for a quick chat in just a moment. Fury, D Biggs, Phil, best of the rest, really. And then Disco, Xmart, BT Targa, Little Each, Monkey Boy, Peaceful, Gary, and that Bozzy Boy and Mazda will be wondering what they've got to do in the second race. Top 7 can't qualify, so Disco, Phil, Fury, D Big, Sooty, Unorthodox, and Andy cannot qualify. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with the second qualifying session of the evening. Don't go anywhere.
Are we out?
Yeah, we're out. You're wank.
You see, can you see Disco's just put in the chat, Mazda, you can bet there's a steward inquiry coming. There's going to be there's stewards coming.
Disco always fucking has to pipe up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's good for that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would be, I can't remember when that was. Did you write that one down, or it was just
no? We didn't see it. We didn't see it. Yeah, we didn't properly see it. So I didn't really write anything down in that.
No, no. I did think of something. Now it's gone.
Right, we got the top 3 in, and then I'm going for a piss. Yeah, I feel like that's the main case with it. I feel like it's a track that a lot of drivers try to go fast on and can't do it. Yeah. Where's Andy? Fucking hate it when people appear offline. That's every fucking week Disco fucking puts something in the chat like that, and it does my fucking head in.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were doing, mate. It says OX wants moaned about Gary in Discord. Oh.
Well done, Andy.
Well done, mate.
Cheers. Oh man, that was a
good race.
Amazing battle there.
You enjoyed that?
Amazing. Yeah, that was really good. Nose to tail for like basically the whole race, the whole second part of that race.
Congrats, Andy. Well done, mate.
Cheers. Oh, great race. Great race.
Yeah, I was struggling towards the end. The rear end was really twitchy. And that one mistake in the chicane, and you got me.
Yeah, it was. I made a little mistake first couple of laps, you know, when you got past me. I mean, I made that mistake, and then dropped about 3 seconds behind, made another little mistake, and then out of the pits, I managed to get a couple of really quick laps in to get onto the back of you. I think it was having that clear air. Must have been the clear air.
I also know you like this circuit a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I won here in the touring cars at Motive, so...
I can't stand Donington, so I just knew this was going to be hard work.
Fucking yawn.
I do love this track.
What up? What up, peeps?
What Sutty?
Yes, Sutty on the podium.
Yes, from last to third. I tried to catch you. I tried to catch you, and there was no chance.
With us as well. No, you were keeping
I was.
It was about 10, 11 seconds the whole way.
I was, and then the rears started going. I thought, yes, I think we're back off a touch.
He's not in yet.
What did you run? What did you run, Andy? Softs or hards?
You're not in, are you?
Softs all the way.
Yeah.
I was on hards.
I can't get the hards to work. I find that coming through the craners, I always lose it on the hards. Can't do it.
Thanks, Kelly. Anyway, send it that last week.
Yeah.
Last to third this week.
Yep, I did say it. I said, watch Sooty from the back. He's going to do something, unusual.
Yes,
something like that. I said, you do crazy stuff.
Yeah, the Sooty from all this back in every sense of the word. Sat on the puffy in front of the telly on the pad.
You're pissed off, aren't you?
Yeah.
Were you on the pad, sir?
Of course I was on the pad, you delinquent.
Do me a favour. Do me a favour for the rest of the season, right? Yeah. Stick to the pad.
Yeah.
If there's a bet going on, whatever the bet is, I'll replace whatever the bet is. Just stay on the pad for us, please, boys, because it's better.
Yeah, put that wheel on eBay and get rid of it.
Andy, I'm so pleased I'm so pleased you've gone to that BMW and got rid of that fucking Janetta.
Yeah.
Because you can actually race people now and not have to be on edge every fucking lap.
Was anybody else having problems with tyre pressures? I'm wondering on the rears.
I was having to be really easy battling people. Like I'm always used to going toe to toe with Dan all the time, but last season I wasn't able to. Every time we're side by side, I had to kind of keep in mind that I was batting way out of my league whenever we were going wheel to wheel.
I think I felt in the Acura.
Yeah, same thing. Same sort of thing.
I was half tempted to fight you hard, Andy, but at the same time, I didn't want to. I got quite a good points gap at the minute, so I was kind of just like, do I want to be fighting him or not?
I knew you was a fight. I thought
Right,
10 seconds. I thought I'm too far behind.
Yeah, let's just say I had to win that. I had to get past you. I had no choice there.
I knew you did.
I really did.
Maybe a bit better qualifying, Sooty.
I have more.
No, I think I found the thing to do.
It's a game though.
Sit back, enjoy the view, and send it from the back.
Yeah,
like a skipper from the back.
That's it.
Oh, it's going to be trouble.
Even at the start, you see how much I backed off everywhere, Kelly. I was sitting there, Phil. I'm just still behind you.
I'm not looking forward to that.
I think the Mercs are struggling. They struggled last night, and it seems that they're struggling tonight as well. They can't seem to get the tyres into a window.
Yeah, well, I'm in a party with Maz. They're struggling.
Yeah,
see, Maz has done a 103 in practice, so
yeah, it's tyre pressures because I think with the Merc, what Maz was saying, because it's right on the cusp between soft and hard, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they were saying, and I think
they can't switch the hards on, and they're burning the softs up.
I think they get into a zone where they've got some pace. Do you know what I mean? Because Liam was going well, Fury was going well, and then
Peaceful
it seems to
did a
drop
105
off.
dead. Well, Peaceful did a 105 dead.
Yeah, and I think it just kind of drops out then. Do you know what I mean? It's. I think they're struggling overall.
Running the pressures low on the soft helps. I've been able to make them last the race just by starting the pressures on the minimum, and then just keeping them going.
Phil was on the softs that race. He had a coming together with someone as well and still had a good result. I finished 6th, didn't he?
Who we missing?
I believe he did. Yeah,
we got a full grid tonight. I just realised.
Missing one.
I am not laughing at the fact I lapped Gary. Not at all. I didn't laugh when I went past him because it'd be unsportsman.
Honestly, Gary had such a.
Came on to that Liam, I was shitting myself because I saw he lost it just in front of me.
Oh, shitting it with Liam.
I flashed my lights literally about 100 times in the space of about 10 seconds. I was behind him. I was just like, fucking hell, please, just see me.
I was starting to creep back on you at the end as well, so I was just like, okay,
I was managing it.
A little bit more.
End of the race, I was just like, bring it home, don't fuck it up now.
I just realised my driver rating's starting to go up incredibly quickly now I've gone back on the pad.
What you mean to be doing, Sati?
I like the way you like.
I thought I was just looking through the ratings there out of interest because you just mentioned it to me, and I S-S-S-S-S-A, S-S, and I thought, who's that idiot who's a C? Oh, that's me.
And that's why you're in the Pro-Am.
That's why you can go fuck yourself.
Oh, the best! I can't remember who it was. Somebody got S class, and then we said you can't lose it, and then went to a
Me.
Was it
you? Can't lose it. Yeah.
Me. I then did a dickabout session with Matt and everyone, and next thing you know, we left it, and I was in A, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Brilliant.
Oh man.
I don't know why on my profile it says that I use cockpit cam when I blatantly used the bonnet cam.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I use the roof cam.
I never use the cockpit cam, but it says that I do.
The bonnet cam. So is that just the front edge of the bonnet, or like from the top of the roof looking forward?
No, it's the one like just above the bumper. You got bumper on the ground, bonnet just above, roof on the top. But I find that the bonnet's the perfect one because you can see enough of the track and you see around you, but also you've got like enough of a vantage point, and also you're right on the front of the car, so you see everything, and you kind of like it's more immersive.
Well, that's where I drive, right on that bonnet edge. Well, I know you're on the roof cam, aren't you, Dan?
Yeah.
I'm roof as well.
See, I get the point of the roof cam because you can see more, you know, but I feel like I'm driving a van.
Also, if you start to lose the car, you're able to correct it quicker if you're on the bonnet because you kind of like it's more what's the word, like it's more obvious when I drive where you do, Andy, and I like it there. Do you know what I mean? But as I say, I feel the perspective feels wrong to me being sat on the roof. Can you know the camera that you use when you're on the streams, the bumper cam?
Yeah.
You can't actually get that, I don't think, on the track, can you? Or can you?
You can.
I think you can.
I race just above that. that on the
that's
bonnet.
it. Yeah, I race just above it, but I go onto that cam on the stream because I think it's a brilliant view. You know.
Yeah.
And it's because they use that one in like touring car and stuff like that, don't they? Because they have like a camera right up front, don't they? And I think it's just a cracking view.
you get to see how close they are to the car in front. You can really get an idea of what's going on. Yeah,
absolutely, and you can read all the sponsors on the back.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even notice what it said on the back of Dan's car. I was focusing.
I think it says Porsche GT3.
I was gonna say it's the Porsche fucking the main factory Porsche one. So it's probably just got Porsche lagged over it and a bit of a daddy-dash here and there.
Was there a BMW badge imprinted on it at any point?
I got sick and tired of looking at the back of fucking Gary's Porsche at Silverstone last season. Fuck me.
Did you give him any nudges, Andy?
No, I didn't.
Just to let him know you're there.
The time, did we, Dan? I don't think we didn't have a single bit.
Brilliant.
Oh, right.
We had one close moment, which was my late sudden jink to the right, but that was about as close as it got.
When was that? Was that out of the pits?
No. My first move on you got the jump on me at the start, and then I got towed down the back straight, and then I jinked left thinking I was going to go outside, and then quickly jinked back to the inside.
Oh, yeah. And you got back. You got past me a few corners after that. It was the next lap. Start of the next lap. You got me. I think.
Yeah.
We were actually on that bumper cam.
No, it wasn't. I lost it out of the final corner, and then you got me down the straight. That was it.
Yeah.
I got a second then. Was excited, Andy, and then you flew past me. When Andy pit there went yes. I went, oh, never.
That when Dan lost it, Andy, through the chicane, we were actually on that bumper cam then. And you can see that because you missed the apex on the entry, didn't you, Dan? And then went on the sausage a bit. And
the rear went light under braking, and that was it.
I had to slam the brakes to avoid hitting Dan in the back. It was very close, very close.
Yeah.
But I just managed to swerve.
I was lucky not to go round. Every time I've gone there, I've gone round. You
caught it. That was fair play. That was a good catch.
Oh, look at that, a 58.7.
I kept running wide. You know, out of the craters on the grass on the left. I kept getting onto that, and I kept having to keep it floored. Otherwise, I'd lose too much time to Dan. I was just flooring it across the grass, trying to actually keep it under control because I was getting mad oversteer.
Right, you gonna go live? Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport for the second round of the evening, round 8 of the season. And I'll just go quickly run through the teams, drivers and constructors championship. And as it stands, Unorthodox has a 4-point lead over Andy, as Andy on double points for tonight's race, as is Gary 131 then. But Andy doing a cracking job straight away here. Disco's in P3 with Fury 4th, Gary in P5, D Biggs, no he's not, Gary's not in P5, D Biggs is, but it's not done it correctly. D Biggs is P5. As I sort that out now. Right, the tables aren't even like that. Dan, Andy, Fury, Disco, D Biggs, Gary, BT Targa, Sutty's up to 8th, Peaceful's in 9th, X Mark's 10th, Little Each 11th, Monkey Boy 12th, Big Boy Brazier down in 13th, Phil 14th, Liam in 15th, and Mazda no points in 16th place. Slingshot Motorsport lead the constructors' title at the minute, 6 points ahead of Shake and Bake. Leechy Losers and Team Prolapse are tied on 91, with GQ Motorsport 1 point ahead of Wakasaki Racing. Run Flat Racing are then 2 points behind GQ Motorsport, as Iron Brew Racing on 25, and SimPlay Racing still on 0. We've got the top 3 in, and it's been a long time coming, but Sutty, you're back in for an interview.
I'm back.
Yay.
Yeah, and I guaranteed that the cans are open. You're on the pad, and let me guess, you're having a great time.
Yes, I'm having a good time. I am back on the pad, how could you tell? Yeah, it was good, that one.
Because you were quick.
Poor qualifying.
Well done, Kelly.
Poor qualifying, 15th place for yourself, but up to 3rd in that race. It was pretty much a typical Sutty Apex race.
Yeah, I decided to try the soft tyres and qualifying and try a bit of a different setup where, as you know, I basically threw the rear wing in the back of the garage and it didn't really work. I couldn't get a lap in. But then the second race I just went with stable and just slowly mulled my way through.
Yeah. Great pace in that first one. The Lamborghini seemed nice round here?
It was nice, yeah, until I'd say sort of the last maybe 10 laps where the rears, the tyre pressure started going up a bit and it started getting a bit slidey. And I was trying to push at first to catch Andy and Dan. I could see we were sort of keeping pace, but then I was risking losing the car, so I just thought, just bring it home.
Bring it home. What can you do race 2, buddy?
Sutty, send it.
Hopefully the same.
We'll let you get back to it, buddy. Well done.
Alright, well done, Dan.
Just
well
before
done,
we get to Unorthodox, and Liam has once again got himself a grid penalty here, so he just cannot get the pits right at the minute. Dan, though, good race from yourself. Not the best qualifying's in P3. Well, I say not the best. P3 still a great qualifying. Led for majority of the race. What happened?
I made a mistake. I made a mistake in the final chicane. That gave Andy enough an opportunity to get me. So that was it. Made one mistake, and to be honest, I'm happy to take a second, considering I nearly didn't even make it in. Yeah, I'll take the points. Now that I know that Andy's on double points, that's interesting to know. So I still got mine to use. So it's all still to play for. Yeah.
Yeah, you had decent pace in that first race, like you say. You made that one mistake, nearly didn't get in. Donington Park seems to love you, based off of what happened last season.
I hate Donington Park. I hate it with an absolute passion. And I knew Andy would be quick here. It's one of his favourite circuits, and I knew he was going to be on top form. So I just had to minimise the damage. Leading the race was nice, but then I just knew something was going to happen. I never have the luck here at Donny. So second place, I'll walk away from race one with that. So yeah, it's all good, really, but I was looking forward to get away from it.
Race 2, what can you do, mate? Sorry, Kelly.
I was just saying, I hope your bad luck doesn't carry on when we actually go to Donny in a couple of weeks' time.
Definitely not.
Probably be denied entry or something, won't we?
I'll have a Jamie Brazy and disconnect as I get to the gates. But but no. I'm looking forward to getting this out of the way. And going back to your question, Matt, just stay out of trouble, get some good points, and just walk away unscathed from Donny and head to Red Bull Ring. But I want to say a massive congratulations to Sutty. It's nice to see him back on the podium. And again, a massive well done to Andy. That was a top job. He kept me on the pressure.
Brilliant, Dan. We'll let you get back to it, but you best not disconnect when you get to Donington. You're bringing me a rattler, remember? So you best not disconnect, because I want my pasty. And a pasty, a Ginsters one, yeah. We'll let you get back to it, and we'll grab a quick word with Andy. Andy, second race win of the season. Good pole position for yourself as well, keeping up that form of the best qualifier, or one of the best qualifiers here at SimPlay, with your second pole as well. Pretty much a decent race, bar the fact that you lost start to Dan early on.
Yeah, I'm just glad that didn't affect the possibility of me taking the win later on. But I just want to say, if Dan considers this to be one of his bad tracks, then I hate to see what he considers one of his good tracks, because he's very quick around here.
Yeah.
Wasn't easy to get past at all. Managed to get past me early on, put a bit of a gap. Got a decent pit stop and managed to get a good couple of outlaps on those laps afterwards. Managed to come out all over Dan. And I'm going to echo what Matt said on the commentary. I think it was Kelly. I don't know, one of you said it was ebbing and flowing. Or was it?
Yeah.
Ebbing and flowing.
Yeah, ebbing and flowing.
Exactly that. Yeah, it was 100% ebbing and flowing out there, because it was moments where Dan was pulling away a little bit, maybe had a second and a half, and then I closed back onto him again. So we were trading fastest lap times, and I managed to get quite lucky. Dan made a small mistake coming out at the last chicane, and just about managed to swerve. He sort of lost it on the exit of the corner, just past the apex. So I just managed to get around him. It was close, but managed to avoid contact, thank goodness, and see it out. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, pretty happy with that, and a good start to the evening. What can you do race 2, bud?
It's a narrow track, not easy to overtake. Lap 1 is going to be key. Just stay out of trouble. And now everybody knows that I'm on double points, so I'm scared. I'm really scared.
Watch your back.
Yeah, well, best of luck, Andy. We'll let you get back to it with a couple of minutes after quali. We'll let you get prepared. Dan will let you get back to it as well. Just to say there that Liam's just got himself disqualified from qualifying there, so he's clearly missed the pit limiter again as he's gone down the pit. So he is currently P4, but disqualified from this one. Master then currently on pole. Looks like he could get his first point of the season for being on pole. X-Mart, though, not too far behind him. Just a couple of tenths between 9 tenths separate the top 8. What a remarkable sign that is. X-Mart in the pits. 2 minute 50 left, Kelly. 3 drivers very, very pleased to be on the podium. Dan saying he doesn't like his track, and I have to echo what Andy said, really. If that's what Dan can do on a track he doesn't like, you say that, and each race meeting's different, as I said, and I think Andy's the real challenger for Dan this year, don't you? I think that's the season-long battle now is going to be Andy and Dan, which is what we want. Do you know what I mean? It is.
And I've said it before, and I want to see Daniel do well for obvious reasons, but I want him challenged. Do you know what I mean? And we want some racing just like we've seen, So I think Andy's the man to take it to him. So and Andy will play it down. He'll play it down. And Dan will play it down. So it's part and parcel of what we do. So yeah, you know, For me, this is the battle. This is about Andy versus Dan.
Yeah, indeed. They'll play it down and Sutty will say, take each other out so I can have a chance in this title fight. 22 people watching, 15 likes. Mazda's just improved on his last lap, as we say evening to Dean with Socky. X-Mart's now 2 temps off the back of him, but still in the pits. Little Each is third. No one's yet beat... in the 104s, yeah. Gary was there in practice, but hasn't done it since. No one's yet beat that Bozzy Boy's time of P4, but he's been disqualified from qualifying. Now, I wonder if I can just look through the window and see how many grid penalties he's got.
He's not hanging from the rafters on his bootlaces.
No, he's not. No, what he has got though is, I can tell you, he's got himself a 2-place grid penalty. So Liam, currently P4, will drop to P6 in this session at the moment, which will promote Monkey Boy and Peaceful up, because they're currently 5th and 6th. Gary down in 7th as Little Each doesn't improve. Gary doesn't improve either. BT Target in the background, he doesn't improve as well. Nobody really improving here. We're on the last 48 seconds of the lap. Peaceful's the first car to set one. X-Mart will not get another lap in. Peaceful's the first man to set the next lap time. Yeah. Will he get another lap in 38 seconds from here?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, most probably. I know with X-Mart, he does tend to do his... and Nicky's very much the same. When I've been in parties with him, when we've raced in the same league with X-Mart, he tends to do his bit and think, that's all I've got. That's the best I've got.
Yeah.
And I'm done. So, and to be fair, 104.7 is a good showing from X-Mart. He's really beginning to get the hang of this Porsche bit.
Oh,
as
wow.
Peaceful goes third.
Peaceful does go third. Mazda backs out into the pit lane. Peaceful's gone third. So who's the next car on track? Is it Little Each, I think? The next man? Yes, it is Little Each. And then behind that will be Monkey Boy and BT Targa. So Little Each comes round the final chicane. Can he improve on his time? Currently P4 he's been demoted to now as Peaceful's gone above him. No, he can't improve. What about BT Targa in the background and Monkey Boy? Can these two improve? Here comes BT. Slight improvement for him, but not enough. And Monkey Boy stays P6. Yeah, so it will be Mazda on pole for his... Oh, Peaceful's actually got another lap here.
Still out there, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on what Peaceful can do. BT Targa, though, will be 8th. Liam's down in 5th, so he'll start P7. That'll promote Monkey Boy and Gary. So Liam down in 7th because of his 2-place grid penalty. Gary will then go up to 6th. Monkey Boy will then be 5th. And then we just wait for Peaceful Explosion. He clearly must be up on his time. Or is he just getting that track time, I wonder?
No, I think
couple of hundreds to get ahead of X-Mart. Yeah, he stays a couple down. Peaceful stays P3. So Mazda then gets his first pole of the season and gets that extra point for being on pole at the minute. He will start on the front row with Team Prolapse X-Mart in this race, followed by row 2, Peaceful Explosion and Little Each. That Buzzy Boy, it says he's 5th. He's not. He will start down in P7. Row 3 will be Monkey Boy and Gary. Row 4 will then be that Buzzy Boy and BT Targa. Sutty then the first out of the guys who couldn't qualify with Disco McDisco Face 10th. Andy in at P11 with Fury in 12th. So Andy ahead of Dan. That is quite crucial, isn't it, as we go into this next race?
Yes.
Fury 12th, Unorthodox then 13th, right behind Andy with Phil 14th and D-Biggs 15th and last. It's going to be interesting, this one, to see who can do it. Who's your tips for this race, Kelly?
Who's my tip for this race? This guy Mazda might have a bit of a better run starting from pole. So yeah, look out for Mazda from pole position. X-Mite in 2nd, Peaceful in 3rd. Let's hope Mike has a better run. That's Peaceful. Little Leach, yeah, if he can keep the Renault up there, then it's consistent. Gary, again, I think we need to keep an eyes on Andy and Dan from the back, and Disco and Sooty again. You know, well, this is an interesting one, this one, isn't it, really?
You say keep your eyes on Andy and Dan from the back. I think with Mazda and Gary further forward, I think Sooty's the man to keep our eyes on. He come from 15th last time. He now starts ahead of Dan and Andy. That could be a crucial position on a track that is very hard to overtake on, and we'll have to see what he can do.
It's going to be a lot about the first lap, really, isn't it? You know? And, yeah, you know, as you say, Sooty's done it from the back to 3rd. Halfway up the grid now, he should be able to do it, like, 1st and probably to Red Bull Ring, you know. But yeah, we'll see. But I think first lap's going to be interesting, and who makes the places. It's a narrow track here. It's not easy to overtake. But it looks like we're ready to go.
It does, doesn't it? We are ready for round 8 of the season. Round 8 to 24. How this season is slowly flying by. 4 tracks in. We're green here. Exmore did not get off the line well. Peaceful got a good start, as did Master then. They've both got ahead. Peaceful's already jumped Exmore then. Phil didn't get a great start in the background. And here comes Little Leech looking up the inside of Exmore then as Master wide, all on his own. And that's put Peaceful Explosion into the lead. Little Leech didn't get the job done on Exmore. That is a Porsche off. And whose Porsche is it? You wouldn't believe it, but it's the championship leader. He's off at turn 1. He's well behind at turn 1. Andy as well's had a moment, and Dan can't wait to get away from here. Well, he's last, and he's way behind the pack already.
Yes, indeed, not a good, ideal start, but look at this man, Peaceful, Mr. moaning in the in free practice before we came on air, and he's now leading this race, but it's only lap 1. Let's see how long he can keep it there. Mazda had a shocker into turn 1, went very deep, couldn't get it slowed down. But who else has done well? Gary on the up, Sooty's going down, Disco's staying about where he is, and
actually, as you say Sooty's gone down, Sooty and Disco's actually gained a place through all of that.
I thought Sooty was in. Oh, he's in 8th.
No, Sooty was 9th, I do believe.
All right, okay.
So they've all got past BT Targa then.
Who's gone right to the back, 22 seconds down behind Dan. So I don't know what's happened to BT. I don't know if he's had a.
He's definitely.
Broken. It's broken.
Your car's not looking so hunky-dory there, as that's Little Leech. No, it's Little Leech off. He's just clipped the wall. He'd have wanted to avoid that, but he's just clipped it. He may have got away with little damage there, but either way, you'll have to get that back going. Gary's now up into 4th, Liam's up into 5th, and Peaceful just stretching his legs a little bit. BT Targa in the pits. He will have to pit. Excuse me again, as Mazda very wide at McLean's. He seems to be struggling in that Mercedes. He was another one before we came on air. The tyre choice in that Mercedes seems to be the problem at the minute. As here goes Sooty looking up the inside of Disco to defend his position. They've got Liam just in front of them, and these two banged doors a little bit last week. Sooty stays ahead of Disco at the minute. Disco flashing like mad. Well, no one's got to get out of the way. This is for position. Disco's actually got that job done on Sooty. It's a good move.
Yeah, Fury giving a watching brief as well, waiting for these two to crash into each other. Sooty had to get out of that a bit. That gives Fury the run up the inside because he had to get out of that.
Yeah. Fury up then into P7 as that's Andy and D-Biggs in the background looking for a way through. And Sooty will want the hurry up there. I want D-Biggs deep at turn 1. I tell you, he's rejoined there just in front of Phil. That looked a bit... like Phil would have had, that looked close. That looked like Phil would have had to get out of that. Dan is still way down off the back of this pack here. The leaders are gone, starting to stretch their legs. Gary's had a moment. He's dropped down to P8, still dropping down places. Where is Gary? He's off there. So the Leechy Legends. And that's Monkey Boy as well. That's Monkey Boy with him. Dan's just got back past Gary, and see Gary having a nightmare of a race. There's Little Leech as well. He's just been overtaken by Dan. So Gary was running 4th. That's put Liam up into 4th. But now Liam's got a gap ahead of him to Exmar, but has got this battle behind him. Disco, Fury, Sooty in the background. And here goes Sooty. Will he send one into the chicane? No, I think he thinks better of that. The Merc looks like it's got the legs. Set them up through the chicane. Missed the first apex. Didn't get the run through the second. Liam's on the grass. Liam's on the grass. He has a wiggle. He spins the car.
Yeah, that's Liam spinning, probably a nudge into the wall. That's a line, Fury. My gosh, take some of the pit lane. Take it all, why don't you?
Yeah, it looks like though he's got an under... it looked like he had an undercut there, Kelly.
Didn't it? Let's jump onto Fury. There you go. Right on the back of Disco.
Yeah. Look at him, really close, really hassling the back of that car. Peaceful here has started to gap Mazda a little bit, so Mazda then just dropping back from Peaceful here and just needs to get into a rhythm. No points here. Well, he's got 1 point on the board, and that's the point he got for getting pole position in this race too. Liam's gone off at the crane of curves. I can see over my shoulder again. Struggling is Liam in that car, but I suppose when you're not getting the practice, you're not able to get that laps in and get the feel for the car on these tracks. He's dropped down to 14th place now and is only behind BT Targa, only ahead of BT Targa. Here's Xmart looking like to challenge Mazda for P2 on the track. They're letting Peaceful get away here. Now I'd love to know Mazda's strategy here, because he's got pace as Mazda, but he's not got pace compared to Peaceful at the minute. 107.2 for Mazda, Peaceful in the 105.4s. So Peaceful having a great start to this race as the pit window opens very soon at the end of the next lap. Peaceful starting to gap them and maybe getting that confidence to just take his time a little bit more with each gap that comes that progresses. Andy's got himself ahead of Sooty.
Yes, he has. Where's Dan in all this? Still trying to get himself on the back of Phil. He's 13 seconds off the lead, 5 laps in, so he's got a lot of work to do. We'll see how he gets on. I don't even want to go on Peaceful. I don't want to talk about him. We'll just leave him get on with it. So who's close? X-Smart is close on the back of Mazda, very close, and having a great run with that. Disco in the kind of middle of them. Andy's having a good comeback from towards the back. He's done Sooty. And but Sooty's still there. He hasn't given it up.
Oh, he's had a huge wiggle through Coppice corner there. I think Sooty was trying to get underneath. He has managed to hold on to it. He's going to lose a lot of time. He'll have to be defensive into the foggy TSs. I wonder if Sooty just caught the back of Andy's car there, trying to get a bit of an undercut on Andy through Coppice. That seemed to be what it looked like from this point of view. He just tried to get an undercut, but tapped the rear of Andy, and it unsettled the car. But like you say, X-Mark's lost a bit of time to Mazda through the last part of that lap, but still within about 0.6 of a second to him. Now Andy's got the breathing space of no Sooty on the back of him. He can really start to attack his teammate. Then you've got D Biggs and Phil behind. Phil again having a quietly good race. That's BT Targa behind Phil, but he's a lap down. Then comes Unorthodox Gary Littleach, Monkey Boy, that Bozzy Boy, and BT Targa, who is a lap down. But these guys not really in a battle with anybody yet.
No, two fastest men on the track right at the moment. Gary and Unorthodox and Peaceful out front. So Dan's trying to claw it back. He's a second faster than most of the people in front of him, but he's got a lot to do. He's got an awful lot to do. So let's see if we're going to get a champion's drive from this.
I think X-Mart's made a mistake somewhere, Kelly, because he's dropped a couple of seconds off the back of Mazda here as X-Mart. There he is, look, and he's coming into the pits at the end of lap 6, so making that early call. Possibly. Into the pits then comes X-Mart. I think that was Disco. No, it's Andy following him into the pits at the end of lap 6. Will anybody else come into the pits? Dan decides to come in early doors as well. Anybody else? No one else at the minute.
Making a mistake.
Very wide there. Fury has got him, and soon so will D Biggs. D Biggs now gets past as well. No one else into the pit lane. And at the minute, it is. Have we lost a driver? We did have 15. Yeah, we did have 15. I think we've lost a driver, but I can't.
Who have we lost?
Put my finger on who we've lost here.
Peaceful, Master, Fury, D Biggs, Sooty.
Load the track map up. Let's see if it says anything on the track map. I can't see Disco's name. Disco's left the session. What has happened to Disco McDisco face then? Disco? Oh dear.
Don't know. He usually comments in the.
What has happened to Disco there then? But that'll be no points for him in this second race, as D Biggs comes into the pits, as does BT Targa for his stop. So D Biggs in. Dan's made an early stop. So is Andy Gary into the pits as well. Well, what has happened to Disco? That is the big question then, to find out what has happened there. What happened to Disco, says Jamie. Exactly, Jamie.
Yeah,
we'd love to know the same thing. Yeah. We'd all love to know. We'd all love to know what you've asked as well.
Yeah, Disco usually comments in the comments, so we'll see if he's see if he tells us what the problem was.
Yeah, Mazda then.
Disco. Yeah, I'd love to do one on Saturday. It's a wedding, but we would really like to know, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we really would. Mazda then, kind of in no man's land now, as everybody started to make their pit stops. D Biggs has made his pit stop and been undercut by Unorthodox. You see what I mean? The undercut, D Biggs was well in front of Dan. Yeah. The undercut seems the stronger way to go around here. Dan then up into 8th place. There is a few other drivers that have still got to pit. Dan as well has jumped X-Mart, but like you said, X-Mart may have had a bit of damage. Now, Dan's got to keep it steady here. We've seen him made a few mistakes in race 1, a few twitches, a definite mistake at the chicane. Dan's got to keep it a bit steady as he goes through.
Yeah, Dan's flying, isn't he? I mean, considering where he was, he's now. Has Andy pitted yet?
Yeah, Andy's pitted.
Andy's pitted, and Dan's only 4 seconds behind Andy again now. And imagine remember how far back he was before.
Yeah,
so he's
exactly.
Making some progress.
He really is making some progress, and it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, this is going to get interesting. And as Fury then, P3 at the moment. So who's left to pit then? Disco obviously won't be pitting in this race as he's not here. Littleach, Bozzy Boy, Fury, Peaceful, Sooty, Phil and Mazda then still to make their pit stop in this race. It's going to get interesting, I'm sure, as this race goes on. 22 people watching, 16 likes, guys, girls. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new. But yeah, Peaceful, Fury, Mazda kind of in no man's land. Sooty then not having he's had a bit of a steady start here, hasn't he? He's not made the progression. He seems to have made a few mistakes more than anything in this second race.
Yeah, you say that though, but he is there in 4th.
Yeah, but he has got to pit.
Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that's going to be more like 8th or 9th, isn't it?
Yeah. Around Dan then, as Little Leach comes into the pits himself at the end of lap 9. That's Little Leach in. I think he had a mistake at the end of the chicane as well, so that'll give Dan an extra position here. And flying at the minute is Dan D. Biggs. There's the 2 Team Prolapse cars in the background, but one is a lap down, unfortunately, is BT Target. Now, has Dan got damage on the front of his car, or is that an old, a bit of old damage? It's not really. He's repaired it, but it's not fixed itself on the screen.
Could be. Depends how much damage Dan is willing to have done in the. I mean, he's definitely got a scuff down the side of it there, hasn't he?
Yeah, the bumper's definitely sticking out, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. As Maz
Peace was in. No, Peace was in. Look.
Peace in for his thing, right? Okay.
Peace was in then for his pit stop at the end of lap 10. Mazda leads this race. There goes Fury. There goes Sooty. Now this is an interesting one. Here are these boys coming through Coppice. Dan's halfway down the SimPlay straight. Peaceful's already on his way out. So Dan will not get the jump on Peaceful Explosion then. There goes Phil, who's had a mistake somewhere because he was closer to Sooty than that. There in the background is Andy, and Dan is just coming through the chicane then, as that then means that these boys steady as they go. Peaceful P5. The top 4 then have not yet pitted. Neither has Bozzy Boy, who is down in 14th place and struggling at the minute.
It's going to be interesting to see where Andy ends up, and Dan for that matter, who's 5 seconds back from Andy, when Fury, Sooty and Phil pit, because there wasn't a huge window between Peaceful and Andy, was there?
No, there wasn't a huge window between Peaceful and Andy. And when Mazda Fury Sooty pit, that'll be interesting to see if it gives Unorthodox a bit of a booster in terms of his positions. Mazda back into the 105s, Dan still in the 105s, but the quicker Dan starts to go, the more he's going to come into traffic. And well, does he want to push too hard and make mistakes like he did in race 1? That's the problem for Dan at the moment. Peaceful gaining
someone in the background.
That's Gary again. Gary. He has had a dreadful night tonight. Yeah, he's had a terrible night tonight. Phil on the Peaceful on the back of Phil here. That's just under a second. Phil not pitted yet, so Peaceful doesn't really need to fight Phil too hard. Just needs to keep it steady, really.
Yeah, I'm not going to even talk about it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to, yeah. We had this discussion, the practice before we came on, and Peace was like, "Oh, I've got no grip, no pace, blah blah blah." And he said, "You might as well talk about me." He said, "It might do me better if you talk about me tonight, because normally when you talk about me, I end up spinning." So I just decided I ain't going to talk about him.
Fair enough.
Although now, I'm actually talking about him.
I will say something. I've just gone on Dan's stream. Dan does have a bit of front aero damage to the front of his car, so that will explain the front bumper then, as I think that was that Bozzy Boy they put a lap on there. And at the minute, Mazda doing a fine job out front from Fury, Sooty, Phil. Peaceful still sat behind him. D-Biggs being hunted down by X-Mart here. D-Biggs, Dan and Andy got the jump on X-Mart in the pit stops. And this is the interesting window to go. Lap 12 of 28, lap 13, the leaders have just started. When will these guys decide to pull the trigger and come into the pits?
Brilliant question, Matthew. One that will be answered in due course.
Yes.
And that's what we're kind of waiting for now, to see how it all pans out. So Mazda on his own out in front at the moment, 6 seconds clear of Fury, who's a further 3 or so.
Liam's round in the background.
Again, he's not having the best of nights, is he?
No, but you know, he pulled that cut sort of come away a little bit as BT Target got a wiggle there through Redgate. He kind of pulled out a little bit, didn't he, saying that until he gets work and college settled down, he'll try and get back then. And without the practice, I feel that Liam's driving a car that's very difficult to get right unless you're able to put some laps behind the wheel of it.
Absolutely. Well.
No! I can't believe it.
Where is
Fury's
he?
Fury's in at the end of lap 13.
And a shocker that for Peaceful. That could have thrown the race away for him.
Well, it has. Andy's pitted and Andy's got himself ahead of Peaceful now. Oh dear. Mike, what a shame for him. Fury then coming out the pit lane now. He's just taking the limiter off. And there's Andy coming out. There's Fury coming out the pits. And Andy gets the jump on Fury. So with Mazda, it's going to be tight as well. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I think Mazda's maybe got the legs because he was about 6 seconds up the road from Fury, so I think Mazda may have the legs over Andy. We could see Disco. I'm quiet, that's all, says Disco. Go Andy, he says in the chat. Fury drops in at the old hairpin. Has he managed to hold on to that? He's gone a bit wide. Yeah. Will that allow Peaceful back through? But Fury's now jumped Peaceful due to Peaceful's mistake at Coppice. Peaceful didn't get back past him. Dan, he made a mistake somewhere because he looks like he's dropped off the back of Peaceful a little bit. I thought he was a bit closer than that. Obviously not. Liam is in for his stop and managed to get it stopped out. No, he's got a 10-second penalty. Andy, looking at him there, missed his pit box. Mazda then into the pits as well at the end of lap 14, as is Sooty Apex. So Mazda and Sooty into the pits then, and Phil will lead this race. Now there's Andy. Is Mazda coming out the pits? You hear a car going, that's the Lamborghini. There's Mazda. There's Andy. Look how tight it is. So I think Dan's made another mistake, by the way, because he looks nowhere near as close to Peaceful as what he did a minute ago. He is, though. He's a second clear, and has jumped Sooty Apex in the pits. So good job from Dan. Dan is 6th at the minute. Phil leads from Mazda, from Andy, from Fury, from Peaceful, from Dan. Phil, though, the only man now not to come into the pit lane. Bozzy Boy is coming out the pits, as I can see over my shoulder. Which car, Disco, without naming names? Merc, he says. What a shame. What a shame, but look at this. We've got a battle for the race lead here. And, Mazda on Andy. This another battle that I've been excited to see, especially since Mazda's back in a car that he enjoys. We've got a battle here that could go on for for all season as well. Jamie asking what colour. Jamie, let's keep that out of the chat, because if you say what colour, that's kind of giving it away, isn't it? Let's not be silly and answer that one.
Go back, watch the stream, Jamie, later on.
Well, I mean, we didn't see Disco have an incident or come off. Well, I don't think we caught that one, but message each other private if you want to say what colour. We're trying to keep that stuff off of here, but Andy then and Mazda. This a fight that we've been looking forward to. Mazda's made a mistake on Redgate again and gets a bit twitchy over the curb, and Andy up the inside will not need a second invitation. Andy's in the lead. This is brilliant at the minute. Andy could be on for great points in terms of the fact that he got a pole in qualifying, let's not forget. Race win as well. He may not get
he's on doubles.
Yeah, and he's on doubles, so this even better. That's Liam in front, who's got huge damage as the leaders are coming round. Oh, he spins in front, and I think that caused Andy to hit the brakes, and that's put Fury on the back of these boys now. And Fury and Mazda having a little scuffle.
And yes, indeed.
Oh, Mazda's dropped it!
Mazda's round.
Yeah, and that will now put Fury on the back of Andy for this race lead then here. Peaceful and Dan have got ahead of Mazda. Mazda's dropped down to 7th behind Sooty. Look at, in fact, Dan's got past Peaceful.
Don't count Dan out. Don't count him out. He's only 3 seconds back off these two, and these two are fighting for the lead.
Well, net lead.
But they are fighting for the lead. Mazda's gone.
Yep, no points. No points for Mazda, bar 1 in qualifying.
Yep, and so moving on. Fury all over the back of Andy and looking very, very racy. And as I say, don't count Dan out. He's close with these two, and he's making progress. So Phil's your man out front. He's only got 6 seconds clear of these two fighting for the lead. And while they're fighting, that's giving Dan the opportunity to keep on coming. Yeah.
Come on, Andy. Sorry, I ain't there to back you up, dude. Says Disco in the chat. We've lost Mazda again. So again, he's on 1 point. And I tell you what, I think a few people may start to get a bit annoyed we had him in this season due to a few reasons. Obviously has happened with him being allowed to change cars and things, and then retires from 2 races. I think there could be a few people quite annoyed with the fact that he's not finishing the races here. Andy leads from Fury as Phil then comes into the pits. That will allow these two to take the lead. Phil pits at the end of lap 17. These two start lap 18. There is that Bozzy Boy. There in the background is Dan. And now what's happened to Peaceful, because he's dropped behind Sooty, Xmart and D Biggs, and Sooty's just got back ahead of Xmart. Phil's gone long and has come out. Will he come out P4 here? No.
Look at this lot.
Oh, D-Big squeezing through the middle of Dan, of Sooty and Exmart. That's a good move. But then Exmart tries to turn in. Peaceful's got damage and a 10-second penalty to his name. As in the pits, he's came again and gets a 10-second penalty. Sooty now with D-Bigs and Exmart. Look at this through the Carina curves. This is brave and Exmart's off.
I was going to say that D-Big said Sooty send it on Sooty, but Sooty did one back.
Yeah.
Great move from D-Bigs, that. Straight through the middle of the pair of them. And, but Sooty capitalised at the end of it. So where did Phil end up? Ended up in seventh after all that.
Sorry, Kelly.
Closer.
Just to cut you off. Sorry, Kelly. Just to cut you off. Smithy in the chat. I don't get why people quit. Enjoy the night wherever you finish. Exactly.
Good point.
Yeah, very good point. These two battling it out. Liam in the middle. Heavy damage. Spun at Coppice. Got hit by Sooty. He couldn't avoid. Fury is having to go up the inside. Late on the brakes. Is he going to get this one done? That's what happened to Peaceful then. Got hit by Sooty after he spun. Sooty nowhere to go apparently. So that might be why Sooty was involved in that big battle. And Fury has taken the race lead. Great move from Fury. Lap 19 of 18. 8 laps to go. And Fury leads this race.
Yes, he does. Did he know that Andy's on double points and will be a little bit cautious? Who knows? But Mr. Pro-Am champion is driving like a pro tonight.
What did we say in the practice session? What did we say?
Getting a lot better. Andy's dropped it.
Yeah,
no,
he's not dropped it, but he's made a huge mistake. I wonder if he ran over the curb on the exit to McLean's corner. It's very easy to do that there, and he's managed to stay in front of Dan. Now we've seen these two battle earlier, and he'll want to keep that BMW in front of Dan, even though he's on double points. He knows Dan's got to take a double later in the season, and he knows he's got to finish in front of him. Every time you finish in front, it all counts. Dan over the sausage curb, and a bit twitchy on the rear there as he did that. That's what he did in race 1, let's not forget.
Yes, indeed. And the other shake and bake Porsches all over the back of Sooty still. These two still going at it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look at it. The cream usually comes to the top, doesn't it? Andy and Dan right at the back. They're now fighting for this race win. But the man out in front and doing a stellar...
No!
Oh, no!
Oh, he's dropped it on his own. Is he going to get back on before Andy comes? Down the Craner curves. There is Andy. Dan's dropped it! Dan's dropped it! You do not see this very often. Unorthodox has lost the car. They've got that big a lead that it's not going to matter. But is that the race win out the window for Dan in this one? He is human.
Yes, he is. And was that mistake sparked by it all going off in front of him? You know what it's like. You can get. Is that Fury off again?
No,
or is
that's
that
Liam.
Again?
That's Liam.
Was that sparked by the other two having moments because, or by Fury having a moment, and that's Liam round again, and he's spinning around more than Kylie that one. Was Dan sucked in by the accident that happened in front of him? Because it does happen, doesn't it? You get kind of, you know what I mean? Sucked in and by it.
I get exactly where you're coming from. I get what's happening here. Fury seemed to drop it on his own. Andy seemed to get through. Later in the day, I wonder if the tyres are just acting different later in the day, don't forget. We are now at 3 o'clock on the daytime, and this is getting very weird. While we're speaking about time of day, join us next week live for Monday night for the Clio Cup at Silverstone National, I do believe it is, where me and Jamie will take you through that one. Red Bull Ring next week for the Pro and Pro-Am night race. First night race of the season. Back-to-back night races as well. Red Bull then Daytona.
Yeah, so Disco will certainly have night fever for that one.
Yeah, he will. He will. I don't.
You got that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I got that one. But
yeah.
I don't think Disco's in the mood for jokes.
In a night fever kind of. You're not in a disco kind of mood.
I don't think he's in the mood for jokes.
Kind of mood.
No, I don't think he's in that kind of mood tonight. Fury, though, still within 6/10 of Andy. Even though he had a big slide down the Craners, he's still within touching distance of Andy. Now, the question is as well, what's that going to do to his confidence? What about Dan? Because Dan's only got a couple of seconds back to Sooty and D-Biggs and Exmart. If he has another moment like that, Dan's going to be struggling here. Look, there's Sooty, there's D-Biggs, there's Exmart. As Exmart has got past Sooty, so has D-Biggs. So I wonder what happened to Sooty there. Deep at the chicane, maybe. But Dan, losing it once on his own, well, he's got to sort of settle back into a rhythm, hasn't he, now? Because you know when you make one mistake, one leads to two, and so on and so forth. You have got to get back into a rhythm.
Dan is a thinker. He will be thinking to himself, well, third place is solid points. Do you know what I mean? At the end of lap one, he was nowhere, pointing in the wrong direction.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Third is solid points. And, you know, it takes a lot of races to make a championship, you know, and third place is solid. So is Dan thinking, right, okay, I've had my mistakes for this round. I'm not a big fan of this track. Let's just bring this home, you know?
Yeah, potentially so, 100%. You know, that could be what Dan's thinking, but Dan's a racer and will want as many points as he can throughout the season. I think Sutty has just lost it because he's dropped well off the back of these boys, and that could allow Gary to get another place. Gary's got 8 seconds. There he is. He re-emerges across the grass. But either way, Sutty then has got a job to do to get back on the rear of Xmart and D Biggs. Fury is trying to stick with Andy. Liam is again about to become a lap down. Andy flashing him. Now Liam doesn't have to move, let's not forget.
No, but the way Liam's going, he must have put wets on or something. He'll be round again in a minute. As you say, needs some more practice in that car and not getting the hours in due to, you know, doing grown-up stuff.
Yeah.
But this has given Fury the opportunity to get right back on the back of Andy. And is there a bit of team play here as well?
Is there a bit of team play? No, because Fury's tapped the rear of Andy.
Fury just tapped the rear of him. Is he going to matter?
He's had a big off there, and I tell you what, I think that Dan's going to get through here. Look how far off Fury is. Here comes Dan then. Fury is going to go down to P3, and that's why Dan keeps pushing, because he gets them positions. Has that gifted Andy a race win? Kieran in the chat, Liam may as well retire being 5 laps down. Disco, Liam's a moving obstacle, he says. Well, Liam needs to get the laps in. I reckon it's better if... it's hard to say, isn't it? Obviously, doing the grown-up things, working and being at college now, he's got to think of his personal life, obviously, before the sim racing stuff. But at the same time, does he stay out there, and is this laps in for Liam in the bag?
Well, we just said about, you know, we made comments just earlier about not retiring for the sake of retiring. And if I was spinning like Liam is, I would just back off a little bit. You know, and I mean, it's easier said than done. I appreciate that, but we don't want to lose drivers just for the sake of, you know, not having a good night.
I think Fury's lost it again in the rear. I think Fury's tyres may be done because he's lost it, look. And there is D Biggs and Xmart. We could get D Biggs on the podium. BT Talga is in the pits. What a shame for him. I think Fury's on the soft tyre here, and I think he's overcooked them.
It could well be. He's taken the best out of them, and now he's in real trouble from everybody. And
look,
again,
he's struggling. Xmart's dropped the car. Xmart's dropped. He's held onto it though nicely, but Fury was so wide on the exit of Coppice there. He's struggling on them tyres, and Shake and Bake back onto the podium. And with no Disco to score points for Slingshot Motorsport, Shake and Bake trying to get to grips on that podium run. I think Fury needs to back off for a lap or two.
Go.
Yeah, I think Fury needs to back off a lap or two here.
Give his tyres a chance to, chance to cool down and get back into a window. But he's done it on D Biggs again. But look, so loose as he comes round the first corner. I do think it's only a matter of time. As I say, Fury needs just to turn the gas down a little bit.
Yeah, steady it down, steady the ship, get it back into a rhythm, get back. The pace that you once had earlier in this race, it was going to sort of kind of give you the race win. Andy has sort of come off his pace of 107.9. Doesn't seem that he's on as good a pace as normal.
Doesn't need to be, does he?
7 seconds through with coming around start lap 26, 3 laps left. He doesn't need to be on that pace. Dan can put the effort in as much as he wants in case Andy does have a moment. I think it's going to be to no avail. D Biggs is trying to get on the back of Fury. Gary's trying to get on the back of Sutty further down. Phil's trying to get on the back of Monkey Boy. Little Leach is kind of really in no man's land in this race. Peaceful's now well ahead of BT Talga. That Peaceful can take that 10-second penalty and get to grips with it. But I think Peaceful here maybe disappointed with this outcome of this second race.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was leading and doing really well. But I mean, again, it's got to come good for Peaceful sooner or later, isn't it? You know, he has these kind of a great half a race there, really. You know, and it's got to come good for him at some point and put some, you know. A
question I say to you is, and this is more for next season for Peaceful, car change?
Maybe.
Clearly something in that Merc's not working. Oh, it's Gary! Just as we go on board, as he's gaining on Sutty, has dropped it there then, coming through the old hairpin. That'll give Monkey Boy a place, and potentially Phil. No, there's Monkey Boy. That was Peaceful getting past to unlap himself. Phil then just behind Gary. There's Phil. Phil will get past as well. Gary struggled tonight. But yeah, does Peaceful change car for next season? maybe get something that's a bit more planted. The AMG is a handful at times.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on Gary's spin there. That was exactly what I did last night, which cost me about 20 seconds and probably a podium, maybe a podium. But yeah, easily done. Yeah, maybe. I think it depends where he ends up, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, so, something we've missed is D Biggs has got back ahead of Fury then. As we was watching Gary go round, got ahead of Fury by quite the margin. So... And X-Mart's actually gaining on the back of Fury. That's about a second to X-Mart and Fury. Yeah, just over.
Fury's tyres got to be gone, haven't they? Got to be.
Yeah, Kieran said this last night as well off air. The softs did the race, but the minute he had a spin, it took a while for them to come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened to Fury here. Smithy in the chat. Gary needs a car change next year if going to see the 2-times champ again. Disco, there's blocking and then slowing like that, causing people to spin. Not quite sure what Disco's on about there, but yeah.
Yeah, so where are we? Closing stages, lap 27. In fact, Andy's on lap 20. Yeah, last lap. Andy's just starting lap 28. This one's going to be a little bit easier for him towards the end here because he's got 8 seconds over Dan, but it's going to be the same as it was really. Andy and Dan for this one. This double points for Andy, as we know. That's 2 race wins. That's going to be a big haul of points for him. And, going to really start to challenge Dan. So, there's been a lot of talk this week, Pro-Am, about next season, who's going up, who's going down, changing the cards, changing the teams, this and that. But we're a long way away from that yet. Do you know what I mean? A long way away.
And it's going to be Andy then that's going to take first place in this race. 2 wins tonight for Andy. What a job from him. Awesome. He's had a stellar night. I do think the stream has just gone down to the end. I think my PC's froze at the end. But Andy's going to take the race win then. So we'll have to go through the drivers as they cross the line. On Orthodubs then is going to come home in P2. With Fury then, who's got back ahead of D Biggs. Is he going to hang on for third? Now, what's happened to D Biggs? He's 6 tenths behind. Fury then is going to get on the podium once more. We'll have to leave the driver interviews. PC screen has just gone black. X-Mart then is P4, so X-Mart finished ahead of
D Biggs.
D Biggs there, so X-Mart 4th, D Biggs in 5th place. Where's D Biggs? 5th. 6th for Sutty.
Yeah. 7th for Monkey.
7th for Monkey.
Gary
in 8th.
Phil
in 9th.
Little Leach
P10.
Peaceful in 11th. BT in 12th.
BT 12th.
And Liam
13th.
Some 6 minutes down, but he's still there.
Yeah, and fastest lap of the race goes to, as I'm not sure if the stream is
105.0. 105.0 for Dan.
Yeah, 105.0. Just going to scroll through. Yep, 105.0. So Dan will get the fastest lap. Fastest lap for Dan there. And that is job done. We don't need to close it to the end. There's no point in doing interviews because the stream has gone down.
Stopped.
And the PC has fucking froze once again. So, yeah, job done. What?
Oh, are you not what?
It's fucking PCs.
Yeah, I paused it, so your computer's gone down.
PC's just fucking...
Yeah.
Well, PC beginning to be a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Yep. Really is. So I may as well stop streaming that and then add them results at the end. Yeah.